Good morning, everybody. It is the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Can't hear myself. There we go. I got a bad connection. All right. Anyway, news. News is broken, ladies and gentlemen. News is broken. The offensive coordinator was finally named. And I interpret this as, boy, it is the dawn of Nick. It's the dawn of Nick. How about him? He goes, I want my guy. Now, it took a little while to consider it. Boom. He gets what he wants right now. It's good to be a Super Bowl winner where you go, I want this guy. He's my guy. I brought him in. He's ready for the challenge. He's my guy. All right, Nick. Now, last year, we wouldn't have taken any recommendations from you. But since we won a Super Bowl, I guess we got to defer to you that Kevin Pulo, the offensive coordinator, will do you right. Now, this brings in Kevin Pulo, joined at the hip with one Nick Serriani. We didn't like the way Nick Serriani made calls. I assume that there's not going to be autonomy here with Kevin Pulo. This is going to be Nick Sirianni production. And, at this point, I am not going to be critical of Nick Sirianni. What he says goes right now. I'm going to sit back and go, dude, you have earned the right to do this. I don't know if Kevin Pulo is a good hire. I have no idea. I can't say he's a bad hire. He's a hire. We will see during the season. I tell you what, though, Sirianni does put himself on the griddle with this move in that he heartily endorses this guy. So this guy better get off to a really good start. This guy better know what he's doing, or we go back to doubting Nick Sirianni and his choices. So I don't think there's any question that the coordinators that came in last year really had no influence with Nick Sirianni, that this was a Jeff Lurie, Howie Roseman thing. You got these guys because we think they're the best. And they probably considered doing the same thing this time, but they said, we can't. We just can't. The guy won the Super Bowl. He's riding high. Nick the Quick. He's doing everything right now. So if he wants Kevin Pulo, we got to trust him, just like we trusted us when we picked Nick in the first place. Bill Colarulo, your man is riding high. It is the season of Nick.
My man is riding high, but I'm not so sure that this was just a unilateral decision by Nick Sirianni. I mean, everybody knew once the postseason hit that Kellen Moore was most likely going to take the Saints head coaching job. So even though he doesn't officially take the job until after the Super Bowl, I'm sure the Eagles have been discussing what the plan would be for the offensive coordinator for weeks now. And even though Kevin Pulo is Nick's guy, I'm sure Howie Roseman signed off on it, Jeffrey Lurie signed off on it, and even Jalen Hurts, although publicly he didn't come out with a ringing endorsement, I'm sure he signed off on it. And you're right, we're not going to really know if this is a good hire until the season starts. I really wanted someone from the outside. I did. I wanted some fresh ideas. I wanted a guy who's called plays in the past. But there are positives to this hire. You get the continuity. You got a guy who is familiar with the personnel. He's been here since 2020. He understands Jalen Hurts' skill set. He understands all of the skill set on the offensive side of the football. And I dove deep. I love my yellow legal pads. So I dove deep. Kevin Pulo has been a pass game specialist for 4 seasons. 5 seasons. 4 here, once in Indianapolis. His offenses don't necessarily finish in the top of the league in terms of passing yards, but a positive, he finishes in almost the bottom every year in pass attempts, so he understands a run-heavy approach, but yet top 10 4 out of 5 times in yards per attempt. Second in 2022 in yards per attempt. So he understands a run-heavy scheme and taking advantage of your passing opportunities even when they're limited, which I think is the exact formula for success with the Eagles team.
So what we talked about yesterday is that it wouldn't be a really difficult job for a new offensive coordinator coming in here. They have a template on how they want to play football, and that maybe that'll change up the road, but certainly not going to change right now. You take advantage of what you do best. So this guy is there. He's in the rooms. He sees what they're doing. I wouldn't think he would have these radical ideas to change. So from that standpoint, it's probably a good hire. But he hasn't called plays under the hot lights of the NFL regular season or playoffs. So
he has.
There's always that.
Well, a lot of people still have the post-traumatic stress of what happened in 23 when you promoted Brian Johnson. But these guys are a lot different. Brian Johnson came into the NFL and only had 2 years of experience as a quarterback coach in Philadelphia. That's not Kevin Pulo. He's been in the NFL with 15 years of experience, and he's been a pass game coordinator, as I said, 5 different times. So he's got a lot more experience than what Brian Johnson has. And Brian Johnson only coached under Nick Sirianni. That's not Kevin Pulo. I mean, Kevin Pulo, he was with the Chiefs, the Bills, the Titans, the Jets, the Colts. He's got a lot more experience. We'll see if he can call plays, and if he can, it will be an issue because as much as I like Sirianni, Sirianni's a terrible play caller. So if this doesn't work with Pulo calling plays, I'm not sure who's going to do it because it can't be Nick. I don't like Nick as a play caller at all.
Well, you're getting Nick as a play caller, aren't you? Let me just read a couple of the things here. I was reading a story today where Nick puts his arm around Pulo and says, see this guy? This guy is a star. And that's Kevin Pulo. So these guys are really close, and I assume that if you're the head coach and you're close to somebody, you go, hey, I like to call this play here. I got to call this play there. Like I said, there's not going to be autonomy here. These two guys are joined at the hip. More than ever, we look at Serriani, okay, he was separate from Kellen Moore. He had some influence. Kellen Moore was making the calls. But this is a complete, not an opposite, but certainly closer to Serriani back calling plays, don't you think?
I don't think so, because when Sirianni gave up the play calling to Shane Steichen back in 2021, he was acknowledging he wasn't that great of a play caller. So even though I guess he had a say with Brian Johnson, I don't think he's necessarily calling plays. And with Kellen Moore, we saw them mic'd up. He has influence on what's done. Yeah. He has influence on whether you're aggressive, whether you're going to run or throw, or certain plays he'll sign off on. But I do think he trusts this guy, Kevin Pulo. As much as he'll be involved in the offensive game plan, I'm talking about Nick, I don't think he's going to be the play caller. I think you'll see a very similar approach to what they had with Kellen.
All right. I don't know if people have a lot of over-the-top reactions to this. It's pretty mundane hire by the Philadelphia Eagles. But let's get to Jalen Hurts, who knows Pulo. Pulo's been there now for a while. Been very consistent presence there with Jalen Hurts, even though he really hasn't had any influence on Jalen Hurts, really. So here's what Jalen had to say. When was this? When did he say this?
Last week.
Before the Super Bowl, right?
Before the Super Bowl, he said this, and certainly before.
Oh, no, it was clean out day. Locker clean out day. So it was after the Super Bowl, before the parade. Yeah, right before the parade.
Let's see what he had to say about Pulo.
Kevin Pulo's never been he'd have a different role. So it's hard to compare, that role to this role because his job is going to demand something totally different of him. And I have a lot of confidence in him and what he's shown. However, I know, over the years I've learned that's out of my jurisdiction. And so kind of just taking things as they come and trying to go out there and be the best I can be and just learn and evolve.
I'm trying to get a message there. See, it kind of went back and forth. His first instinct was, Kevin Pulo has never been a main guy. Like, that's a weird first instinct to have. And then he says, but I have confidence in him, and this is out of my jurisdiction. He goes, he's never called plays. I have confidence in him.
But I'm not making the decision.
It's out of my jurisdiction. I can only be the best I can be.
Yeah.
So that's not a ringing endorsement. Doesn't matter.
No, and the way I interpret it, because I've listened to that sound a few times now, because my knee-jerk reaction was, wow, he doesn't want Kevin Pulo. But then as I listened to it a couple of times, I just think Jalen didn't want an opinion one way or another. I feel like he's trying to say, because if you remember, he kind of threw his support behind Brian Johnson 2 years ago. That didn't really work out too well. So I think this time he's like, look, he's never done it. I think he can. It's not up to me. I'm just going to do what I do. Like I think he does not want to have an opinion either way because he doesn't want it to be either held against him or, think about if they didn't hire Pulo. If he comes out and says, oh, yeah, I want Pulo, and then they don't hire him, now, is Jalen Hurts angry?
Yeah, but hold on. There's a way to answer questions, there's a way not to answer questions. Like, he was asked the question.
But he's also a robot, Mike.
Well, I get it, but isn't the answer, well, yeah, Kevin's a good guy, and if he's the guy, I'll have confidence in him. His first instinct was, well, Kevin Pulo, he's never been a main guy. Like, that's his first instinct. You don't find that telling?
Well, I did. And that's why I said the first time I listened to it, I'm like, oh, man. But the more I think about Jalen Hurts, I think he tries so hard to not give the media anything. I think that's what he was doing there. But you're right. It's not necessarily comforting that his first words were, well, he's never done it before, and this would be a change for him.
Okay.
We'll see, man. But look, don't we have to trust right now?
What?
Don't we have to trust the Eagles at this point? When you just win a Super Bowl, because I'm not happy about it either. I wanted them to go outside the organization. But it's like you just won a Super Bowl.
Trusting Serriani is what you trusted. Trusting the Eagles. They deferred to Nick. He wanted this guy. There's no question about it. Now, we'll talk about what it means, but there's clearly, I'm reminded of that scene in Scarface where Tony Montana has the big statue, "The world is mine," and he's got the big world. The world is his right now. The world is Nick Sirianni's. It's the season of Nick. Here's how you get in. 610-632-0975. It is General Knowledge Thursday. We're carrying it over from yesterday, and we've added a prize to it to sweeten the pot. We'll tell you all about that after this. Don't go away.
Tyrone Johnson.
Mike Missanelli Show. Thursday, another cold day out there. Trying to warm it up, a little discussion on the Eagles. Kevin Pulo being hired new offensive coordinator. I don't know if many people have like an overt reaction. My reaction is that Serriani now has won. And I want to read a passage here from a story that I read. He also reportedly has hired Dolphins assistant Parks Frazier to replace Pulo as a passing game coordinator. Frazier also coached under Sirianni with the Colts. So he's got these loyalties to certain guys that he came up in the NFL with. So the story says, consider it a flex. This time last year, after a late season collapse, a playoff blowout, and a series of embarrassing incidents on the sidelines and during interactions with fans, Sirianni was just campaigning to keep his job. It didn't help that he hired badly after a run to Super Bowl 2022, which resulted in the regression of his franchise quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and one of the worst defenses in Eagles history. Today, he has reasserted control of his staff. Look at that, Bill. He won him back over. And you're happy about it.
Hell yeah.
I got to be honest. I'm not buying that, though. I'm not buying that this was a power flex by Nick Sirianni, and Sirianni stood up and said, this is the guy I want, and Roseman and Lurie were like, anything you want, Nick. We know how this organization runs. We know this is a collaborative approach. They have known now for weeks that Kellen Moore was leaving, and I'm sure Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, Sirianni, they all did their due diligence. They looked around and said, this is the best option.
Oh, horse bleep.
This is not
horse bleep.
Come on.
How could this guy be the best option?
Well, I can think
he's got no track record of anything. They promoted from within because Sirianni wanted it.
Here's the issue, Mike. When you go to the Super Bowl, you are way behind the eight ball in the interview process. So a lot of the quote unquote high caliber candidates are gone already.
Yeah,
so who are you going to find on February 19th?
These guys, you think Lurie from day one has not processed who the great offense coordinators are, and he's got the Lurie list and Howie's got the Howie list? You
exactly.
think Kevin Pulo was on that list?
What I'm saying is you're proving my point. The fact that Lurie and Howie have their lists and they signed off on Kevin Pulo means they felt this was the best option. You really believe, even though Sirianni won the Super Bowl and even though Sirianni is going to get a contract extension, that Lurie and Roseman, if they wanted someone else, would have just been like, sure, whatever you want there?
Absolutely.
No damn way.
Absolutely. He won the damn Super Bowl. They've got to express that kind of loyalty to the guy if he wants his guy.
Now,
he has a pedigree now of winning the Super Bowl.
Now, what's possible is Sirianni, Pulo, Big Dom DeSandro, and Vic Fangio went into Roseman and Lurie and said, we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse because we want the Paisan coaching staff. Look at the powers that be now with the Philadelphia Eagles. You're talking about the Sopranos, baby.
Why are you getting off the subject?
I just don't buy it.
Why are you getting off the subject?
I just don't buy it.
How do you not buy it? Kevin Pulo is an unknown guy way down on the staff. He becomes the offensive coordinator. I'm not saying it's wrong. We'll see if it's wrong. But how could you not agree with the fact that Sirianni won this thing?
He's not way down on the staff. He's been
the game coordinator
and the assistant head coach.
Oh, assistant head coach.
He's been the assistant head coach.
It's his buddy. It's his buddy boy. He gave him a title.
I think we overplay the whole buddy boy thing anyway. Like, he replaced Kevin Pulo in Kansas City.
Grabbed him around and they gave him a hug, Ray. This guy here, he's going to be a star. It's his boy.
He was underneath him in Indianapolis.
He even looks like him, for crying out loud.
They got all the Paisans, man. What I'm saying is knowing what you know, Mike, about the Philadelphia Eagles and the way they run their franchise, you really think Roseman wanted somebody else?
I think that they had compiled a really good list of potential offensive coordinators that had better credentials than Kevin Pulo did. And I think they have deferred to this head coach. There's a time when you have clout, and there's a time when you don't have clout. Now, I'm not saying this is a wrong decision, but I'm perfectly fine with the fact that this guy, they go, okay, hey Nick, you won the Super Bowl, okay? All right, we're gonna trust you. Of course that happened. How could you not think that happened? You think he was the best candidate?
Yeah, honestly, I look around, and as much as I wanted to see them go outside the organization because I want that fresh ideas and someone who's called plays, that's not an easy find.
Why wasn't he the best candidate before they hired Kellen Moore? Kellen Moore was a better candidate, right?
Yeah, they
you don't
passed
think
him
there's
over.
another candidate out there that's better than Pulo?
Maybe he proved himself this year. I don't know. Maybe he proved himself this year
The
with
quarterback coach,
with the 29th
passing
ranked
game
offense.
coordinator. They didn't even pass.
Well, I looked at the numbers, Mike. Even though they were 29th in yards and 32nd in attempts, they were number 6 in yards per
Let
attempt.
me ask you this
number
question.
6.
Why are you reluctant?
I'm just not seeing a power struggle.
Why are you reluctant not to commit to Serriani finally getting some power when you love the guy? Like, well, isn't it a small leap for you to say, yeah, he earned it. He earned the right to choose his own guy.
I just find it hard to believe that knowing what we know over the years about the Eagles and their franchise,
They didn't win a Super
that this
Bowl,
was
Bill.
a power struggle.
He didn't win a Super Bowl.
Peterson did.
Okay, Peterson did, and they let him go. And they let him coach until he coached himself out of a head coaching job. This is a special circumstance. The guy wins the Super Bowl. You're not going to trust his judgment now?
What I'm saying is, I think when you say that Sirianni got his guy, it's not giving enough credit to maybe who Kevin Pulo is as a coach. Because I think the fact that Roseman and Lurie would sign off on it means they must really believe in this guy. They're not just going to defer to Nick and say, hey, look, we don't believe in him, but okay.
So why didn't they sign off on him before they hired Kellen Moore?
Well, why isn't any coach hired last year or the year before?
You can't answer a question with a question. Well, if he was such a great candidate and they knew inside the building he was such a great candidate, why'd they hire Kellen Moore?
They probably didn't. They wanted the fresh ideas after last year. After the way it went under Brian Johnson, when there was no answers and they lost the 6 to 7. What I'm saying is people grow, Mike. There's a reason why certain head coaching Kellen Moore didn't get a head coaching job last year, but he came here as the OC. He grew. He gets hired. Maybe the same thing happened with Pulo.
I got to think that Sirianni endorsed him a long time ago, and they said, no, we can't do that now. Now that he won a Super Bowl and he goes, hey, I got my guy Pulo here, but they go, okay, you won a Super Bowl. It's really a fundamental way of thinking. All right, 610-632-0975. We're going to talk about general knowledge, the categories. We're going to re-rack it. What is the score? We have a carryover score, right? Ray up by two.
I think it's 3-2.
3-2.
Ray is up 3-2.
Which he's disputing
General Knowledge
because
Wednesday.
one of them was my answers.
Yeah, well.
But I took one on for the caller since we didn't have to.
Anyway, we've added a prize. We got Sixers tickets. We got Union tickets. And that's the home opener we have Union tickets for. So it's the Mike Missanelli Show. We'll tell you the categories after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Kevin Pulo promoted to offensive coordinator. I'm Ray Dunn. This update's brought to you by Delilah's. Don't miss any of the action on the ice and certainly any of the after party. Share your ticket at Delilah's for complimentary admission after every home game. Delilah's Gentlemen's Club, always on top. The Eagles announced yesterday that they are promoting Kevin Pulo to be the offensive coordinator following the departure of Kellen Moore to the New Orleans Saints. Pulo is known as Nick Sirianni's right-hand man, has been on the Eagles staff for the last 4 seasons. In the week following the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts was asked about the possibility of this happening, and here's a little bit of what he had to say.
Kevin Pulo's never been he'd have a different role. So it's hard to compare, that role to this role because his job is going to demand something totally different.
Another year, another new play caller for Hurts. The Eagles also be hiring former Dolphins assistant Parks Frazier as a passing game coordinator. Down in Clearwater, we are 2 days from the Phillies opening up Great League action against the Tigers. 76ers return to action this evening as they host Jason Tatum and the Celtics at 7 o'clock at the Wells Fargo Center. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Also tonight, Team USA faces Team Canada in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game at 8 o'clock. This update's also brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. At Mercedes-Benz, there's a reason they go the extra mile, from testing their vehicles to creating AI that can anticipate your needs on the road. They demand that every car is worthy of their star because it's Mercedes-Benz. I'm Ray Dunn in the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Daily Show. Here's how you get in. It's 610-632-0975. And here's what we're giving away at General Knowledge Wednesday, where the categories are general knowledge, Jim Carrey movies, and history. What came first? Two of those categories should be very easy. General knowledge could be hard. Except the first question of general knowledge yesterday was, what song's lyrics are sometimes misheard as Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza? So that was an easy one. And then I gave you one who wrote Green Eggs and Ham. And that was an easy one.
That was an easy one.
So the prizes are a pair of Sixers tickets for this Saturday's game. And then March 1st, pair of Union tickets for the home opener, Philadelphia Union, Saturday, March 1st against FC Cincinnati. Night game, 7:30. Football season ends, and yet football season starts. Tickets are now on sale for the Union. We are the flagship of the Philadelphia Union. Didn't the Union just end their season, Ray? It just seems like they just ended. They're starting a new season.
And it what? All the way back
When did it end?
October?
It did?
It was
It
early
seemed like
this
it was
year.
carried on into December.
I know. I felt like it was just yesterday, too.
Anyway, they start a new season. You can go to the home opener. And I know a lot of soccer fans out there would love that prize. So all you got to do is answer that general knowledge question correctly. You will qualify for both those prizes. It's a twofer. You'll win both of them. Can't beat it.
Ray is correct. Season ended October 19th.
I was going to say, because,
There's all kinds of
Disappointing
Union
end.
news, though. Off-season news.
new coach, departures.
Yeah, they cover the Union pretty well, I think. Don't they?
Yeah.
Hey, Inquirer covers them. They got a.
Tannenwald.
They got a. Yeah. What is he? A Washington correspondent? I believe he's a Washington News correspondent, also.
Is he? Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. What do we know about their new coach, this Bradley Carnell? You like him, Ray?
Do I like him? I don't know him.
Are you?
I mean, I think it's going to be different than what you've seen in the past. I think the organizational shift away.
Are you a soccer man, Ray?
I did a Union game last year,
you
last
did?
May. I think describing me as a soccer man for some people would probably be insulting to the level of soccer men and women we have in this area. But yeah, I enjoy some good football.
Cue the dupes.
I'll try and get
that
out
was
there.
Ray's call
That
when
was
they
true.
scored.
Oh, was it cute dupes?
Yeah, it did happen.
I wasn't here when Ray was doing that.
Now, when did you do that, Ray?
That was in last May.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
you did a
wild.
good job.
We have just celebrated our 6-month anniversary. Did you know that?
Happy 6 months. This is a high school relationship.
What was the date in August?
August 12th.
August 12th?
Oh, wow. It has been
We
6
ran
months.
right past our 6-month anniversary.
We didn't even celebrate.
We didn't celebrate.
We're supposed to take each other out to dinner.
Yeah, we just concentrate on doing the show.
Mike's celebrating with day off tomorrow.
Day off tomorrow, yeah.
Is this the trip? Are you hitting the links? Is this that trip?
I am. I'm
Oh, that's very
playing
nice.
golf on Friday, 36, 18 on Saturday, and boom, back on the plane.
Lucky, man.
Nice.
Lucky. So Ray will be sliding into the studio tomorrow. Him and I will be hosting the show.
There you go. Have fun, guys.
So hopefully he doesn't lose today and he's in a bad mood. But
70 degrees, green grass, walking on it.
you going to call in?
No.
Updates?
No, I have no desire to call in. I'm concentrated on my game, Bill. I'm not focused on the show.
Well, talking about the
Day
show.
off. All right, let's go to text board.
Yeah.
A lot of text on this Pulo hire. Now, again, I have a simple dynamic. I don't know if he's going to be any good or not. It's like anybody else that you hire. You go. I let people go, that's a bad hire. Or you don't know until you see it. You'll see it with your own eyeballs. You get a feel for whether he's good or bad when the season begins. Right now, I don't think there's any question, it's certainly in my mind, that this is a power play that the head coach won because he's got clout now. He wanted his guy. That's his guy. They hired his guy. Now, last year they didn't hire his guy, or the last time they hired him, they didn't hire his guy. He didn't have that kind of clout. He won a Super Bowl now, so now he's got a little flex going. Right? You agree with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Flex. And Bill, who would love the guy to flex, is a little ambivalent about it, which is weird.
The only reason that I disagree with the way you're categorizing it is I think it takes away from Kevin Patullo's credentials.
It doesn't?
It does, because when you're saying this is all a Nick Sirianni flex, then that would imply Roseman wanted somebody else, but Nick Sirianni flexed. What I'm saying is, at this point in the offseason, being that it's February 19th, everyone's already done their interviews. Other teams can block lateral moves, so you would have had to have hired someone that was not already an offensive coordinator because it could be blocked by another team. this was got to be the best option, that they all decided this was the best option. I think when we say this is a Sirianni power move, then that means that he wasn't necessarily the best candidate in other people's eyes. I think this was knowing the Eagles. Roseman signed off, Laurie signed off, Sirianni signed off, and even Jalen Hurts, even though we didn't hear that in his clip that he told the media, everybody probably signed off on this
There's
guy.
always the way these guys operate. Don't you think they have this up-and-coming quarterback coach guy that they've targeted that could be a great offensive coordinator? That's what they do. It's what Laurie and Roseman do.
It is what they do, and that's why I'm saying they probably
said,
feel that way about this guy.
No, I don't think so. I think they, in discussion, they went, well, at this point, everybody's equal. We got to defer to Nick. You don't think that Nick lobbied for this?
Well, you just said at this point everybody's equal. That I could maybe get behind. What I'm saying is I just don't think that Roseman and Laurie had a list and there were people on it
my God.
above Pulo.
They had a list as long as your muscly arm.
No, you could say something else. It's a long list, Ray. All right, what do we got text on this,
as long
Ray?
as Nick Foles.
What do we got on this?
What did text say?
Terrence from Wilmington. What makes the pick of Pulo a little concerning goes back to 2018. Once again, they pick a guy to drive this Lamborghini who has never done it before. With the NFL now taking 4 games in the season to figure it out because there's no real preseason, can Pulo navigate the ups and downs of the season? Can he and Hurts coexist? And how does this offense respond to the Pulo growing pains? Because it's going to happen. And rest assured, Sirianni will be more involved in the offense.
I don't think there's any question he'll be more involved in the offense. If these guys are that close, they're going to collaborate on every offensive game plan, Bill. This is my reluctance for it, to have somebody too close. Like, you get an outside guy, it's like, okay, you still have autonomy, and I'm just still the CEO. These guys are like this.
Well, look, this is where we do agree. If I had my choice, if it was up to me, I would have preferred someone from outside the organization. Now, I'm not going to say this is a bad hire because, like you said, we got to wait to see how it all unfolds. I would have preferred someone from the outside. But the more we have learned about this Eagles team, even this season with Kellen Moore, it's not necessarily Kellen Moore's offense. It's not necessarily Nick Sirianni's offense. This is more of a Jalen Hurts type of offense. So I don't even think someone from the outside would have made that many drastic changes.
Here's the thing that's confusing me about you today as we go into our break. Wouldn't you endorse Serriani having a flex here? Like, that's your guy.
Well,
why wouldn't you just say, yeah, I endorse that he had a flex. He earned the right to have a flex. How come you're not doing that?
I'm sure he has some sort of flex. But see, I'm also not buying. I never bought the narrative that after the collapse that he was completely shut down. Where, everyone last year coming to the season, Sirianni was told, you're not going to do anything. You're going to be in the corner. What does this guy do? I hated that narrative. What does he do? He doesn't do anything. He's a glorified cheerleader. I hated that. So I don't think that it's that drastic of a change. Maybe, yeah, he got his guy, but it's been signed off on.
Mike Missanelli Show, 610-632-0975. Back after this.
The Philadelphia.
10:41, Bill. I think you're acting like a mannequin
Yeah.
on this whole thing.
You know what's funny, though? I get somebody messages me on Twitter, and this always bothers me. I shouldn't let stuff bother me on Twitter, but this one does.
You should. You should let it bother you so you would reform.
Sean says, why can't you both just agree on things? This is not a national radio show. You don't need the good guy, bad guy routine. Like, dude, if I agree, I agree. When I disagree, I disagree. It just so happens we tend to disagree.
Yeah, what's the beef? Like, we have different viewpoints on
I don't
this.
know.
I am saying what I think is, like, perfectly accurate. Bill is, for some reason, and I'm saying something perfectly accurate about a guy he loves. And Bill still wants to argue with me. It's like, there's no question Serriani's got some clout right now,
Yes,
and this was a flex.
But let's clarify. I agree with you to a certain extent. I do. I agree that this was Sirianni's guy, and that's good that they're allowing him to be a part of the process and choosing the next coordinator. The only thing I don't like is when it's put in a narrative of he flexed and they gave him the guy he wanted. I feel like Roseman and Lurie also signed off on it, which makes me feel better
but
about
they signed
Pulo.
off on it because their guy wanted it, and their guy just won a Super Bowl.
But
Well,
yeah.
how's that hard for you to understand?
Because what would have been the better option? You're probably not going to be able to find someone. As much as I wanted someone that called
you couldn't
plays.
find a Steichen out there like they found before. They've got a list of guys that are the next guy.
Did they find Steichen or did Sirianni? Because Steichen and Sirianni knew each other before.
They did, but you're talking about these guys do their homework. These guys are always prepared with guys on the list. Who's the next one? That's how they operate.
Let me tell you one thing that bothers me about this Pulo, though. And again, I'm reserving judgment until the season. I'm not saying it's a bad hire, but here's the one thing that does bother me. I said that there's a big difference between him and Brian Johnson because Pulo has 15 years of experience. But you look at some of the coaches that those 15 years of experience came under, doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me. He was on the staff in Kansas City under Herm Edwards, who's a defensive guy, offensive coordinator Mike Solari. Anybody know that name? Probably not.
Solari, whoa, Cantare.
Mike Solari, he lasted about 2 years in the NFL, and then he was out. Then he was on the Bills staff under Chan Gailey and offensive coordinator Curtis Modkins. Not a name a lot of people know.
Who is he?
Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator Jason Michael.
Who?
Then again
Jason
with
Michael he played for the Phillies, and he got in trouble on South
Yeah.
Street with Pat Burrow one night.
then he was on
Jason Michael.
He was the quarterback coach in New York, again under Chan Gailey, and his quarterbacks were Ryan Fitzpatrick and Geno Smith. Then he goes to Indianapolis on Frank Reich's staff, and he was under Nick Sirianni.
There's another thing, this Frank Reich thing. This little mafia, this Sirianni Frank Reich mafia. He's like, look, listen, I can be a good coordinator. I'm not going to tell it that was a bad choice. They hired a guy. We'll see how he does. But there's a lot of texts that are piling in that don't like this at all. I don't know if it's good or bad, to be honest with you. I'm not saying it's bad, but people are, right? What's happening on the text board here?
Let's go right to that man, Frank Reich. Anthony from Delco, you're telling me Frank Reich couldn't have been a better hire? Guy helped us win a Super Bowl and is another Nick guy.
I swear to God, Frank Reich must have hypnotized people in this town.
I was kind of
the most overrated guy that I've ever seen that coached in this town, and everybody loves him.
Yeah, I know. I kind of was on board with the Frank Reich thing, too, but
Oh, man. Up with the Frank Reich.
he's still not out of the possibility maybe as a quarterback coach. They do need a QB coach, but I don't think it's going to be Frank Reich.
Okay.
See, the thing is here's what a lot of fans, I think, wanted, including me. I'm kind of over the constant change. You know, when you have a franchise like the Eagles do where you have a lot of success, you're losing coaches every single year.
Promote from within that. So that's what you're saying.
Or bring in an older guy like a Frank Reich. This is where the name Frank Reich came up for me. You bring in an older guy like a Frank Reich that's not going to leave. Because let's be honest now, if Kevin Pulo, as OC this season coming up, has a great year, the Eagles do what we want them to do, which is repeat as Super Bowl champs, Patulo's gone next year. He's probably a head coach.
Everybody has to go through that. It's what's sign of the times. All right, what else you got on the text board?
Mike, you're going to appreciate this text. Unnamed texter in PA.
Oh, man, that means I'm going to hate it.
Mike nailed it. If they loved him so much last year, they would have let Nick get his boy promoted. Instead, they told him you could keep your job, but we're picking the coordinators. What's the main difference this year? Nick won the Super Bowl.
It's so logical to think that way. It's like, yes, he's now got some flex. They could have gone out and found another shiny new toy, which defines what Laurie and Roseman do. Instead, they went with this guy, but by no small measure, I think, because Serriani loves this guy. This guy's going to be fantastic. This guy's going to be a star. He's quoted as saying that. They said, okay, all right, Nick, you got some clout. We're going to follow your direction. We kind of like him, too. He's been around. I like him. But we're going to go with your recommendation this year. How do you not see that?
Because I think basing it off of what they did after last season, people grow. We're not in there. We're not in the coaching rooms. We're not behind the scenes. We don't know how much Kevin Pulo was involved in this offense that just won a Super Bowl. Like, we don't know how much he was involved in this offense that just set a record for the most rushing yards in a season, even though he's the passing game coordinator. How much was he involved in everything? If you listen to Serriani, he was involved in everything.
What does the passing game coordinator actually do? Because I don't know. What does the passing, especially for this offense? Now, Kellen Moore's the offensive coordinator. What's the passing game coordinator actually do?
They coordinate the passing game.
All right. There's a lot of people that hate this. So, Ray, what do you got? And I don't know. How could you hate it? You can't hate it. You could be, neutral about it, but you can't hate it.
I'm going to even out the playing field here. I gave a text that you would love.
Uh-huh.
Here's a text for you, Bill.
Okay.
Steve from Havertown. Mike is speaking out of his rear end right now. Doug won a Super Bowl and was gone 2 years later. And to add on to that, they didn't allow Doug to promote his buddy, Press Taylor. This was an organizational decision to promote continuity following a Super Bowl win.
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at it, too. See, I'm looking at it as not only the continuity part, and yes, I'm sure they deferred a little bit to Sirianni. I think that when you look around where you are in the offseason, being behind the eight ball, haven't gone to the Super Bowl, all the top candidates, if you want to call them that, already gone, it's not easy for them to now conduct this search of an offensive coordinator because you can block the lateral move. So they would have had to, Mike, to your point, try to find the next big thing at a quarterback coach or another team's passing game coordinator, but probably a guy who's never called plays before.
Did Doug Peterson have any clout when they didn't give the job to Press Taylor?
He did not.
He did not have any clout. It's not even to say the argument stinks.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, and again, we don't know. Roseman and Laurie may not have believed in Press Taylor, and maybe they do believe in this guy, Pulo.
They didn't believe in Peterson at that point. He was starting to leak.
But do you have the sound bite of Sirianni talking about what Kevin Pulo means to this offense? Because he also spoke. When they asked Jalen Hurts his opinion, he also spoke. Try to find it because we're up against it anyway. And just if Sirianni's correct, we can find this clip. If he's correct that Pulo is this involved in the offense, then it does make total sense that they run it back and just promote him. But we'll find that and play it on the other side.
I wish we had Kellen Moore. How much was he involved in the offense? He's a passing game coordinator. What did he do? He coordinated passing.
Well, obviously, he had a lot to do.
But since we weren't a passing offense, he really just kind of sat around and gave me some plays that maybe we should run. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Pulo promoted its offensive coordinator. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles announced yesterday that they're promoting Kevin Pulo to be the offensive coordinator following the departure of Kellen Moore to the New Orleans Saints. Pulo is known as Nick Sirianni's right-hand man and has been on the Eagles staff for the last 4 seasons. In the week following the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts was asked about the possibility of this happening, and here's a little bit of what he had to say.
Kevin Pulo's never been he'd have a different role. So it's hard to compare, that role to this role because his job is going to demand something totally different.
Another year, another new play caller for Jalen Hurts. The Eagles also be hiring former Dolphins assistant Parks Frazier as passing game coordinator to fill in the role previously held by Pulo. Down in Clearwater, we're 2 days away from the Phillies open up Grapefruit League action against the Tigers. 76ers return to action this evening as they host Jason Tatum and the Celtics at 7 o'clock at the Wells Fargo Center. You can hear the game tonight right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Also tonight, Team USA faces Team Canada in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game at 8 o'clock. This update is brought to you by Wendy's. Try a $3 Son of Baconator today. Big news, bacon lovers. Wendy's Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. That's a whole lot of bacon for just $3. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's. Upgrades on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Show 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5 The Fanatic. Day on, we haven't had one call on General Knowledge Wednesday yet because it's General Knowledge Thursday and people are confused. Here's what happened yesterday. Our YouTube was out. So people didn't think we were actually on the air. It's funny when you go digital and you do that, all that kind of stuff, people forget that you actually have a radio show that's the staple.
And we have a very loyal YouTube chat. The same people every day. It's very engaging. Sometimes they're hilarious.
Yes.
I can't read the comments on air, but they're very good.
And so they got confused yesterday, and we didn't get back going. We didn't get the internet back until after 12 o'clock. So that shortchanged our General Knowledge Wednesday, so we decided to carry it over, and Ray has a 3-2 lead on it. And I think the categories are really fun. History, what came first, general knowledge, and Jim Carrey movies are the categories for today. One thing I wanted to say, we just got back from New Orleans. And we had to eat and stuff, so we have to fill out an expense report. Things have changed when it comes to expense reports. To fill out this expense report, you have to be Rubik.
So I was asked.
Yes, you didn't get that one, did you?
No, but I was asked by Vito.
You have to be Rubik.
Like a Rubik's Cube?
Yeah, it's the genius that invented the Rubik's Cube. He was a genius. So I said, to fill out the expense report, you have to be Rubik. You didn't get it.
I think to understand the joke, you'd have to be Rubik.
Did you get it right?
It went over the head of a few.
I also went over my head.
Yeah.
Went over your head. Rubik.
Yeah.
You have to be Rubik.
You have to be Rubik to
Should I have
understand
said Einstein and been trite like Einstein? See, Rubik was more like...
I don't think you need to be even.
Listen, the people out there, did you think that was a good reference? You have to be Rubik to fill out the expense account.
I think since it's like a digital thing now and you got to download an app and do all that, if you would have said you got to be Zuckerberg, that would have been more applicable.
Yeah.
You agree with that one, Ray?
I felt like trying to figure out what he was saying was like trying to figure out a Rubik's Cube. So I guess it was an apt.
But before there was a cube, there was a Rubik.
But I was asked to help Mike do
you think it was just a name for the thing? It was named after Rubik. He invented it.
I knew that.
There's some things in this world I'll question. I never question.
Can you do a
Never
Rubik's Cube?
question who Rubik was?
No.
Can you do it, Ray? Can you do the Rubik's Cube? Mike, have you ever done it?
Yeah.
No, you have not.
Yeah.
I'm calling a lie on this.
I did.
All right. I think I have a better chance.
It took me forever, but I did it.
When I peeled
once,
off all
and
the
then
colors, I did
I don't like doing stuff that takes me a really long time to figure out.
I think I got a better chance of hitting a 100-mile-an-hour fastball than Mike does of completing the Rubik's Cube.
I'm telling you, I did it once. One time. Now, this is way back when I was a lot more intellectually inclined. Now I'm filed down a little bit. But my point...
Do we have a witness to this? Did you show anybody? Is there a picture of you holding it up? I'm not buying it.
Who takes a picture after that?
Dude, if you do the Rubik's Cube, I would take a picture of myself with the Rubik's Cube.
2 law school students saw me do it.
If they're out there and still alive, I want them to call in. I need confirmation.
So my point to this whole expense report was it's changed. See, when I was at the Inquirer, you didn't have to go through hoops. You could get a piece of paper and put a number on it. Now, I don't want to dime this guy out, but he was a journalist, sports journalist at the Inquirer who covered a winter sport. And he turned in a napkin. Turn a napkin, and it said on it, Western Canadian hockey trip, $2,500. That was the expense account. And back then, it was just paid.
Yeah, now no.
Nothing. You didn't need a receipt. You didn't need Ugats.
Yeah, we got to jump through a bunch of hoops. But also, you could probably eat for about $1.99 back then. Not the case these days.
Dude, Western Canadian hockey trip,
$2,500. And it was reimbursed, no questions asked?
No questions asked. Napkin.
I don't know how you're going to get reimbursed because they asked me to help you set up this account, and I am struggling setting it all.
Oh, of course. If the intellectual like you would struggle with it, certainly Mike Missanelli would struggle.
I'm able to do it. It's just there's so many steps
so condescending.
to try to help
Ray,
you.
Did you hear what he just said?
Wait.
Is that condescending?
Oh, this is why it's condescending. The other day, Ray, I don't know if you caught this. Mike came in yesterday, and he goes, hey, did you see that thing I put on Twitter? And I said, Bill Colarulo probably thinks he could do this. And I said, did you tag me? He goes, I don't know how to tag. That's why. That's why I said it.
That's because that's like, that's social media nonsense. Like, I don't bother with it. When I tweet something out, I don't want to take the time to tag. I just tweet it, and then boom, it's gone.
I tagged Ray in something. He ignored it.
I liked it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, what'd you want? A fiery response? It was a picture of Andy Dalton.
I congratulated him.
Go extra. You have to type extra. Like, I'm done my thought. I'm going to find a guy to tag.
It's probably easier because you had to write out Bill Colarulo, where if you just would have put @ and started writing Bill, it would have popped up.
It would have?
Yeah.
All right, maybe I can do that next time.
So listen, you're gonna have to eat that funny.
You have to listen. He has to give us what we're listening to.
Hold it. Slow down.
I hate this.
Mike Missanelli Show. You listen to WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia. You just have no concept at the top of the hour. A Beasley Media Group station. It's broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. I love when he starts a conversation when it's like 11. He would start a conversation at 10:59 and 45 seconds, right?
Well, his timing's impeccable.
It is. It's unbelievable.
I would have been done. What I was going to say is you're just going to have to eat all of the expenses because there's no way you're going to set it up for reimbursement. There's too many steps.
I'm not eating any.
Too many steps.
I'm not eating any expenses. I got news for you.
That was always my grandma's favorite sound. I got news for you.
I deserve expense money.
You do.
We all do. We all deserve expense money. All right, let's get back to the text board. A lot of people calling out Bill, a lot of people calling out me, a lot of people not liking the elevation of Kevin Pulo to offensive coordinator.
And we have that Serriani audio, too.
And we do have Serriani talking about it. So let's start with the text board. What are they saying now?
Jared from Maple Shade. Oh, my God. I am thoroughly enjoying listening to Bill spin this offensive coordinator topic. He refuses to say it was a Sirianni decision, so if it doesn't work out, it's not Nick's fault.
Oh!
I see you, Bill.
Is that the motivation? I didn't even pick that one up.
People did say that in the YouTube chat as well. And no, let me get this out of the way. If Pulo doesn't work out, Sirianni should be blamed because I'm sure this is the guy he wanted, okay? So this is not me trying to protect Serriani.
Oh, no.
All I'm saying is knowing what we know about the Eagles organization, they all wanted this guy. There's no way that Roseman and Lurie were like, yeah, you know what? We don't really like Pulo, but I guess whatever Nick wants, Nick gets. No way, man. They don't operate that way.
No, now he gets what he wants. You're missing the point. Whatever Nick wants. He won a Super Bowl. He wanted Kevin Pulo. What are they going to say? No? At this point, he's got the clout. You should take advantage of all the clout you have. Like, for instance, here, you have absolutely no clout. But there could be a time when you get some clout.
I think I should, based off of the last 6 months of me basically winning every argument. But with all that being said, I think what my point is, I truly believe Roseman and Lurie took a step back and thought Pulo is the best option. I don't think they just deferred to Nick. I think everyone agreed this is our best option. Whether it turns out to work, we'll find out.
Listen, clout is all relative. For instance, we weren't even going to go to New Orleans, right? You were peeved about it. We should be going to New Orleans. You had no clout to get that done. Mikey Miss steps up, bang. You know what I'm saying?
Clout
it's like I won a Super Bowl, and I had a little more clout for that.
So you're Nick Sirianni. Who am I, Kevin Pulo?
I don't know who you are right now. I'm just saying this is clearly a power. That wasn't a power struggle. It was like, okay, he wants Pulo. Let's give him Pulo. We should trust him as far as this goes. And if it doesn't work out, we'll have to make a change. But we owe him this. He won a Super Bowl for us. He wants Pulo. Well, let's give him Pulo. That was the discussion between Lurie and Howie Roseman. We like Kevin, too. I don't know if we liked him enough to make him an offensive coordinator, but Nick does. Nick just won a Super Bowl. Let's show loyalty to Nick.
Let's listen to Nick first. Listen to what Nick said about Pulo, and then I will see if it changes your opinion.
Go ahead.
Yeah, very important to the success that we've had. He wears a lot of different hats. Helps me a lot with different things, with head coaching things. I can't tell you that I make a decision without saying to Kevin first, what do you think? And that's in everything. That's in game. That's out of game. That's with scheduling. That's with offensive stuff. That's with game management stuff. And lean on him a lot. And then him and Kellen. I mean, they're together at all times. Talking through the offensive stuff. And he's kind of that same sounding board for Kellen on the offensive side. This is what how many years? 8 years with Kevin. So, that continuity is really important because he knows what I'm thinking in certain situations, how you want things to be taught, all those different things. So he's just been a great resource for me the entire time, our success this year, but really our success that we've had since we've been here. Can't be great without the greatness of others, and that completely is definitely a fact with Kevin Pulo, and I trust him with everything. Man, got a ton of trust and faith with him.
What was he going to say? He was asked a question about Kevin Pulo. It's his buddy boy. Of course he's going to say that. What is so revealing about that?
So the part that I thought was important in that is that he's even the same with Kellen Moore. That Kellen Moore and him are basically attached at the hip.
What is he going to say?
This was before they promoted the guy.
He was asked about.
This was the week of the Super Bowl.
Okay, he was asked a question about him. What else is he going to say?
He could have just said, Kevin Pulo is important.
It's a stock answer. It's his friend, first of all.
What I'm saying,
you're not going to. If somebody asked you about me, you probably wouldn't do it.
Not throwing you under the bus.
Some reporter asked you about me. Aren't you going to say some glowing things? Well, I will say the same glowing things about you and Ray.
I constantly have to say glowing things about you because most of the time, what I get from people is, yo. Is Mike that bad off the air?
No, you say, what's it like to work with Mike? That's what they ask you.
Yeah. What's it like working with Mike?
It's like I'm some nuts bag.
Yeah.
But listen, that was no revelation whatsoever. Come on, man.
What I was saying is if you take it for what it's worth, and if that is accurate, that he's involved in every decision, not only with the offense, but Kellen Moore and the team, then they thought this was the best decision.
Am I an idiot here? You ask a guy like Kevin Pulo, isn't he going to say that?
It's hard to imagine the alternative, especially from Nick Sirianni, who goes out of his way to mention every guy on the practice squad having a good training camp.
We've been together for 8 years now. Of course he's going to have a glowing tribute to the guy. It's his friend.
It's his boy. He loves him. They've been together 8 years at this point.
Look,
just put a ring on it.
But I'm on record of saying I was hoping they went outside the organization, okay? But I don't think that it's fair to Kevin Pulo to assume that Roseman and Laurie also didn't have him at the top of the list, listening to Nick Sirianni talk about what Pulo has meant to this team that just won a Super Bowl.
There have been plenty of times when they didn't listen to Nick Sirianni. They listen to him now. It's interesting, the timing of it. Let's see. Oh, he won a Super Bowl. Oh, okay. 610-632-0975. Somebody's calling me out? All right. Oh, I can't wait. Somebody called me out by like Cam Jurgens. He's undergoing a back procedure. I wonder what that's one of the back procedures that I've had of the two.
Remember, he missed the Washington game.
Could be a laminectomy, I'm feeling. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Tyrone Johnson.
Nick Sirianni clearly had to go.
Oh, Mike Missanelli said, I was just listening to Patrick Harrington with a putting tip.
You got to need it.
I'm sorry. I got diverted there, Bill.
You may play well, though, because you don't have any bad habits. You haven't played in a while. Sometimes your first time out, you're all right.
I feel physically better, too, so.
You're fully recovered from the back.
I don't know about fully, but I feel a little better than what I felt before.
Now, you are a guy that struggled with back pain. Mm-hmm. You obviously needed a procedure. How tough is Cam Jurgens that he gutted it out the second half of the NFC Championship game, played in that Super Bowl, and now needs to have this surgery? We'll find out the details.
I don't know what kind of surgery he needs to have.
It was to relieve nerve damage.
Okay, well, that's the one I just had. I had a foraminotomy, but he could have a laminectomy, which is kind of the same thing. Where they go in and they make your vertebrae space bigger. So they got to scrape.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, they dig in there and they because the closed vertebrae. When we get older, especially if you're an athlete, your back will compress to the point where the gap and your vertebrae that it's buffered by the discs shrink, go down to a sliver, and so that impinges on a nerve.
Don't they call that disc desiccation? I believe.
Yeah,
it loses. It gets dehydrated.
There you go. You've done probably a few cases like that, right?
Oh, man. You know how many closing arguments I gave on the spine?
On the spine? Yeah. Well, you know the spine better than I do. So the first time I had a nerve root, a disc that protruded into a nerve root. So they had to actually take a chunk of disc out. That was a more serious surgery. The one I had recently it was impinging a nerve, which the nerve that goes from your back, it goes all the way down into your leg. So they had to get in there and they had to take a cyst out of there, but they also had to widen the gap by scraping the bone in the vertebrae to make the gap wider so it doesn't press down on the nerve. I'm assuming that he's got something like that.
Which is pretty wild when you think about he went up against Chris Jones in the Super Bowl. I mean, this is Jurgens gutted this out. Give him a lot of credit. But when I asked Mike what was wrong with his back, he dropped to Mike Tyson. My back is broken. Do we have that drop? What's wrong? Spinal. I love that. You remember when Tyson was asked about what was wrong after the fight?
I do not.
Oh, such a great clip. No. My back is broken. People out there know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Apparently, no one wants to play general knowledge today. This is befuddling to me.
Why don't you?
And the Sixers. Listen. I get it. Let me read this headline here.
Big game tonight.
This is why this is a big game. Sixers are seeking continuity in their playoff push coming out of the All-Star break. I think we're up for it. See, that just defeated the purpose of the tickets. They play the Nets. That's a W. You're going to go see a W. Well, it's a revenge game for the Sixers. Nets won the last game, right?
I think they did.
Let me quote Nick Nurse here. Everybody looked like they had some days off and fresh. Embiid was a full participant. We went at it pretty hard, pretty long. I guess we've got to wait and see how it turns out. Probably in the morning, usually the first checking point, but he seemed okay today. He seemed like he was moving good and practiced very hard today.
So just like when we played that clip of Serriani, you said, what do you expect him to say? What do you want Nick Nurse to say? I mean, clearly, he's got to say we're up for it. We're about to go on a playoff run. I mean, what else are they going to do? Yeah, we stink. Paul George was a terrible signing. Joel Embiid can't stay healthy. Daryl Morey made a lot of bad decisions. Can't wait till I'm out of here.
This is bad. This is very, very bad.
So he's going to have to be positive, Mike. Not buying it, but he's going to have to be positive.
It wasn't all good news for them, though. Veterans Eric Gordon and Kyle Lowry, combined age 87, were out with injuries. And I love this. Breakout rookie, Justin Edwards, sprained his left ankle in practice. Would you use the term breakout rookie for Justin Edwards?
No.
You want to know his numbers? What's he averaging? 25 games.
I don't know. Tell me.
8 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. Would the term breakout apply there?
No.
Okay. Let me move on. Grimes. You liking Grimes? Quentin Grimes? And Jared Butler? You liking those new guys, Ray?
Grimes has looked good.
Yeah, Grimes looks solid.
Okay. So far with the Sixers, he's averaging 16.8, 6.3 rebounds, 3.8 assists, and a steal. Those are pretty good numbers so far. Now, he once was a highly touted shooter who's been passed around now, so I don't know. I don't know what to feel about him. Is he a burgeoning player finally, or is he Kelly Oubre? You know?
Well, he could shoot consistently, so he's not Kelly Oubre.
Okay. Let me get a quote here from another key member of the team, Ray.
Oh, boy.
Grimes and Butler are accustomed to going a lot quicker, so we're grateful to have them. They're going to bring a lot of toughness, a lot of grit and grind to this team, and we're grateful. It's going to flow a lot smoother. Who said that? Who would have had the credibility to say that?
Maxey.
Would it be Jeff Dalton Jr.? Because that's where the quote comes from.
I forgot that quote was in that story. Handing that story was kind of like handing a slab of meat to a dog.
I got to say, if you're covering the Sixers, I guess you got to go to the likes of Jeff Dalton for a quote. I don't know. I don't think I ever would. But I guess you got to do that sometimes.
But here's the crazy thing. Ray actually tweeted this out yesterday. So right now there is a 3.1% chance of an asteroid impacting Earth that would kind of wipe us out, right?
Like 2032, I think,
Yeah,
right?
3.1%.
Yeah.
But we could at least get the three-peat for the birds.
Well, Ray, the chance that the 76ers make the second round of the playoffs this year is 2%. So there is more likely that we get wiped out by an asteroid in a few years than the 76ers even making the second round of the playoffs.
It's really interesting because if they get the 10th spot, we're gonna chart that up and see if that's really accurate. All right, so the callers, if you want to play General Knowledge Wednesday, we get the Sixers tickets, but also the Union opener. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. That's how you get in. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Pulo promoted to offensive coordinator. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles announced yesterday they're promoting Kevin Pulo to be the offensive coordinator following the departure of Kellen Moore to the New Orleans Saints. Pulo is known as Nick Sirianni's right-hand man, has been on the Eagles staff for the last 4 seasons. In the week following the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts was asked about the possibility of this happening, and here's a little of what he had to say.
Kevin Patullo's never been he'd have a different role. So it's hard to compare, that role to this role because his job is going to demand something totally different.
Another year, another new play caller for Hurts. Eagles also be hiring former Dolphins assistant Parks Frazier as the passing game coordinator to fill Patullo's role. Adam Schefter reported this morning that Cam Jurgens underwent a back procedure to alleviate nerve pain and should be ready by training camp. Down to Clearwater, we're 2 days from the Phillies opening up Grapefruit League action against the Tigers. 76ers return to action this evening as they host the Celtics at 7 at the Wells Fargo Center. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Also tonight, Team USA faces Team Canada in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game at 8 o'clock. This update is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Need more data so you can stream your jam mix on loop? Switch to Straight Talk and get real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network. Straight Talk, available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the Sixers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Oh, it's 11:25. Mike Missanelli show. Before you get to the phones and the text board, the guy called me out just to settle this Sixer thing. The Sixers right now are a game and a half out of 10th, which is the play-in. So if they get to 10th, let's just say they get to 10th, they will play the ninth-seeded team, which would be the ninth-seeded team right now.
It could be one of any of those three. It could be the Heat. Yeah, the Heat
it's Heat.
But they're tied with the Hawks, only a half game back of the Magic. But let's assume your purposes.
So right now, it would be the Heat. And then if they won that game, they would play the loser of the 7-8 game, which would be the Magic and Hawks. And so let's just say Magic are a better team. So let's just say it would be the Hawks. So the Sixers would have to beat the Heat and then beat the Hawks to get the 8th seed. If they get the 8th seed, they would have to play the Cavaliers in the first round. So the odds of them getting to the second round, you're right, they're very, very slender. They can't beat the Cavs in a 7-game series, I don't think. But if they did that, they get a little help because then they would have to play the winner of the Pacers and the Bucks, and maybe they could win that series. I don't know. Maybe they could win the second round.
The conference finals?
If they
talking
could.
about the conference
Are
finals?
we talking about the finals?
We're back.
They would have to pull the upset over the Cavs, and the Cavs seem like they're really solid. So, 44-10 they are. I don't think they're going to lose this first round series to the Sixers.
All right, so let's play this game with a positive spin for a second. We all are in agreement. The Sixers could beat the Heat in one game, right? You agree? They could beat them in one game.
Yes.
And they could beat either the Magic or the Hawks in one game. Not saying it's likely, but they could.
Yes. I don't think they'll beat the Magic. They could beat the Hawks.
But if we're being honest here, they're not beating the Cavs in 7 games. Right? Is that a 7-game series? Yeah.
Yeah.
7-game series.
No. The odds would be overwhelming for them to have to beat the Cavs.
Now that you guys talk about it,
You like it?
they're going to beat the Cavs in the 7-game series. They'll get the 4 or the 5.
Which-
I mean, at this point, we should probably expect a conference finals run.
Which this still bothers me.
Race being very sarcastic.
He is. But here's what bothers me about the NBA playoffs. I say it every year. Why don't they reseed? This is not the NCAA March Madness bracket. If an 8 seed wins, they should play the 2 seed, right? It should reseed after each round.
Not if my 76ers are the 8 seed. Give me the 4 or the 5.
But how ridiculous is
that top seed?
Like the Celtics would be a 2 seed. Let's say the Sixers somehow upset the Cavs, and the Celtics would have to play the 3-seeded Knicks, but yet a 5 seed would get to play an 8 seed. It just doesn't make sense to me. This is not the NCAA bracket. You should reseed. Every other sport reseeds.
I'll take back everything I said about that if they end up beating the number 1 seed.
Mike, you agree with me? Don't you think they should reseed? Why do they do it like a bracket like that? It doesn't make any sense. There's no. It has no relevance to the NBA.
You got problems with logistics with buildings and stuff. You have to, those buildings are multi-use buildings, so you got to get those straightened out before the playoffs start. I'm sure it's building logistics.
So you're saying that once the playoffs start, it gives them like a week head start to know, okay, it's either going to be this team or that team? Yeah, I mean, basically, you get
the building may be banged out.
Yeah, but you're only getting.
I know it's like.
But you're not getting that much of a head start on the planning.
The planning of maybe there's a skating event there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
building is banged
you're
out.
not getting that much of a head start on the planning. Is what I'm saying. Like by not reseeding, okay, great. 7 days in advance, it will either be this team or this team, as opposed to a possibility of 3 teams.
I don't know why they do it. I've never really figured that out.
It doesn't make sense to me.
All right, let's go to the phones. And it's Nick in Briarcliff's been hanging. Nick, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Nicky?
Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I like the Batola's move. I think it's pretty much a no-brainer. Like, continuity is important, and if you're coming off a Super Bowl win, why wouldn't you make that move? Why change it up? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I like autonomy. I don't like when you continue. I don't want Serriani. I want him to keep him in the same role, and I don't think he's going to now be in the same role. This guy is too close to him. And these guys are going to, he's going to have a lot more input on that offense. I don't want that. I want him to just concentrate on being a head coach.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that, especially with the role he did last year, he excelled in. But then, like, it makes me think about the Phillies, the polar opposite. Like, I'm scratching my head why they're running it back after 3 seasons with pretty much the same results. Like, the first year they won 80 games, but then they won a lot in the playoffs. Next year, more games, but less in the playoffs. And last year, they won a lot of regular season games and only have 1 playoff win, you know? Not to change things up there, like I'm sort of scratching my head at.
Well, that's what we were talking about yesterday. Bill was an advocate of changing it up a little bit. I would have changed it up a little bit. I would have freshened it up. But again, you're talking about veteran players with long-term big contracts that you really can't, you don't have a lot of flexibility there.
Well, the one thing I like you said yesterday was about letting Hoskins go, like where they had to move Harper to right field or juggle around somehow to keep Hoskins, because that was the one thing that stood out to me last year was he was probably the most disciplined hitter on the team. Like, he's not a chaser like the rest of them, and to have that in the lineup, at least have one threat of a disciplined hitter in the lineup, seems to make a lot more difference when, like I said, it's the same results where the offense goes
I got to be honest. See, Harper's the main guy on this team. He could have influenced that. He could have said, listen, Skip, I want to play. I think I play right field, and we'll have Reese here for a year. I don't think he did that, and then to me, that's a little bit selfish.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you yesterday. I was listening.
All right, man. You want a general knowledge question, brother?
I sure do.
All right, here we go. I believe this is history. What came first? Okay, what came first? The Beatles or Elvis?
Elvis.
Elvis is correct.
It's a good job right there.
Hold on a second. The Beatles in 1960, Elvis 56.
Well, that's because Forrest Gump taught him how to dance.
That's right. So there you go. All right, Ray. It's tied. What came first? Mexico City or Washington, D.C.?
As in their current form? Or there's no further explanation to that given?
Washington, D.C. was created. So either that came first or Mexico City came first. When the city of Mexico City was built, what year was it? When Washington, D.C. was built? When was that?
Sounds like a trick question.
Well, yeah, I don't know if there was a prior name to the individual, I guess.
I think
Mexico.
you're maybe overthinking.
So I'm going to go with Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. is incorrect.
Yeah, I would have gone Mexico City only because it sounded like trick.
Mexico City is created in 1521. Washington, D.C., of course, had to be created after the Revolutionary War.
Right,
So
but when's the independence of Mexico? Because what was it referred to as?
Look at Ray. Look at Ray trying to find a loophole.
I don't know about the independence and how it was affected, but Mexico City was created as a city in 15.
Mexico's independence culminated in 1821.
Well, but there was Mexico City before Washington, D.C., because Washington, D.C. had to be created. Mexico City existed.
But was it Mexico City? That's what what that question was pointing towards.
Why wasn't it Mexico City?
Well, what would have been called under the time where it was a Spanish colony? Was it Mexico City? It wasn't
So
Mexico
you're telling me it wasn't Mexico as a country in 1521?
I'm just curious what it was called.
It was traditionally known as La Ciudad de los Palacios, the city of palaces. That's what it was.
Wish you'd give him a push on that then?
I'm not sure.
Correct answer. See, all right, we'll give him a push.
Or
He raises a good point.
So I think we give him another question.
Another question? Okay, let's give you another question. This is what came first? The saxophone. Hey, Clarence. You've been practicing real hard, so Santa buy your new saxophone. Or the violin.
I'm going to go violin on this one.
You're going to go violin.
Oh.
Well,
no.
You disagree there?
No, I think that's probably correct.
It is correct.
Yeah, the string.
He goes
The
ahead.
string before
Violin,
brass.
1500s. Saxophone, 1840s.
Now, Ray, do you know what the capital of the United States would have been if Washington, D.C. wasn't
Philadelphia,
created?
PA.
We got screwed, man.
Yeah, we did.
We could have been the capital.
I know.
By the way,
Tough
speaking
one.
of Philadelphia, a buddy of mine who I'm talking with to hopefully would help me out doing a documentary for my podcast, The Coldest Murder. His name is Bill Nicoletti. He did a documentary on the Philly sound it's fabulous.
Yeah?
Yeah, like Gamble and Huff, the old days, the whole bit.
I got to check it out. Is it on YouTube? What is it on?
It's soulful, the OJs and the stylistics and blah, 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 blah. I think it was on PBS, but he sent me the personal link to it. So I watched it on my computer the other day. Music was really different. It was defined. It's funny because, Ray, when we come back, I want you to play this. Remember when artists used to talk their way into a song? Like they would have like a little monologue, and then the music would play in the background. And like,
I remember.
I'll give you an example.
I remember Boys to Men would talk in the middle of it.
They would talk before a song, like, "Oh, my baby." I'm going to give you an example of that, which I saw in the Philly Sound documentary from Lou Rawls. Lou Rawls with that deep voice.
Yeah.
All right, Ray, get up, Lou Rawls. I'll see you when I get there. And on the other side, we'll play it because I think it's hysterical. It's the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Andrew Salciunas.
Your Eagles.
That's classic. Well, I'll see what's happening at the address before I go. Oh, I hope that woman don't put me through no changes today, man, because I had a hard day today. Remember they used to talk their way into a song? Lou Rawls, the great Lou Rawls.
Nah, so I don't remember that as much
Really?
as I remembered like the Boys to Men where they would stop in the middle of the song. It's like, baby, you got to take me back.
Yeah, there you go.
You know,
Sometimes they do that kind of
they
stuff.
would talk through it, but that's classic
a lot
right
of
there.
soul singers, a lot of R&B singers would do that before they'd start. It's like, hey, man, you got change for a quarter?
That was good. That was really
With the
good.
music playing in the background, and then you go into, how you doing? I hope you're fine.
You know what? Maybe if
That
we
is
do,
classic.
maybe if we do ever record Seriani Love, we should talk our way into it to start it, Ray. Have a nice little intro.
I don't know how you
Whatever
can do it.
you want.
You can't do it as soulful to Lou Rawls, man. Lou Rawls just takes the cake. Let's get back.
That was pretty good.
Let's get back to our text board with calling me out. What did I do? What did I do?
C from Bucks County. Mike's entire premise that Laurie and Roseman just deferred to Sirianni's wish list is foolish and short-sighted. Laurie and Roseman rule with iron fists, especially after the Chip Kelly debacle, because Kellen Moore was the last head coach hired. All the best offensive coordinator candidates were already hired by other teams, so what exactly did Mike want them to hire? You can't say a move was bad without offering a solution. That is just lazy
I'm going to
arguing.
offer a solution. There are about 10 people that they probably have on a list as the next up-and-comer. Like these innovative type of quarterback coaches now that really have the coordinator possibilities. If you tell me that those guys don't do their study and have a notebook on that, you're crazy. The fact of the matter is, their coach currently won a damn Super Bowl. If he wanted that guy, what are they going to say? No? It's logical that the guy has more clout now than he ever had. He didn't have any clout the last offseason. They said, you're going to get Kellen Moore, and you're going to get Vic Fangio, and you're going to like it. This time it's like, listen, man, I really like Kevin Pulo. I think he's ready. I think this guy's going to be a star. They go, all right, we got to trust you. He won a Super Bowl. Why wouldn't they trust him now?
See, this is where I just disagree with you. I have a very hard time believing that with the way the season went in 2023, when they lost 6 of 7, that Nick Sirianni went into them and said, I want Kevin Patullo, and they said, no, you're getting Kellen Moore.
No, I'm not saying he did that.
But
what I'm saying is, right now, when they're evaluating and they're going, okay, we got a bunch of guys that we like. We also like Kevin, and Nick says, no, I think Kevin's the guy. I think he's ready to go. And they go, okay, well, we're going to trust you. You just won a Super Bowl. What is so illogical about that?
Because when you put it that way, you're acting as if Howie Roseman are just like, all right, Nick, we're going to trust you. Like,
no,
how do you know Patullo's not at the top of their list?
I like Kevin too, but I'm sure. I bet you they had a bunch of guys in the same kind of category, and so what took it over the top? Well, the coach wanted Patullo. It's okay. It's fine. I'm not saying they made a value judgment that was wrong here, but if you don't think that this head coach who wanted Patullo didn't have any clout, you're misguided.
I'm sure he had clout.
Well,
I just think
that turns it.
I think that it downplays Patullo's credentials.
How's it downplaying?
By saying it was just Sirianni. I think Roseman and Laurie wanted him too.
I didn't say it was just Sirianni. I'm saying Sirianni may have taken it over the top because he's now got cred.
See, well, the reason I believe that everyone was on the same page is because they didn't interview a single person. Like, if this was just Sirianni saying, I want Patullo, and they're like, okay, Nick, we're going to give you clout, I think they would have said, all right, Nick, we'll consider him, but why don't we also interview all these people that Mike Missanelli says we have on a list?
Let me ask you this. What's bad about having clout?
Nothing.
You're making it out like it's bad that he has clout. He has clout. He should have clout. The guy that he wanted after he won a Super Bowl should be the guy that they hire.
There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't buy it that Roseman and Laurie didn't think he was the best candidate. Because if they didn't, if there was any reservation, they would have done interviews.
I think there was a tie about 10 people. And what pushed it over the top was that Sirianni wanted this guy.
Now,
That's what I think.
Do you think that they should have interviewed anybody else? Do you think they should have at least brought people in the door? Or are you all right that they just made this decision?
I'm fine with listen, I'm fine with the hire. I can't sit here and say it's a bad hire. I don't know if it's a bad hire. It's just like when you draft a player, you really don't know if it's going to work out for you. So I got my eyeballs open, just like I did with Sirianni this year when I didn't want him as the head coach coming back. But I said once they did, my eyes are open. Now, my eyes were a little squinty after the first 4 games, but then they got wide open. And I go, okay, look at this.
Bill was right.
Bill was not,
Bill was 100% correct.
Bill was a fan.
Billy Baseball was also right about all his baseball takes.
Bill had this unusual love for Serriani, which I thought was kind of odd.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's go to Alex in Bethlehem. Alex, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Alex.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
What's up,
Mikey
Alex? How you doing?
Bill, what's going on?
What's up, brother?
Yeah, still just riding high. We're Super Bowl champs, guys. If you guys want to talk about that for the next 6 months, man, feel free. Because I can just keep riding this forever, man. It feels great.
It sure does. And that's why we're talking about it. The Eagle talk will never stop.
And, guys, up here in the Lehigh Valley, it's a little bit surreal. Anywhere you go, you're always talking to people who know Saquon's family, his sisters, or they went to school with Jahan Dotson. And it's just great that these local kids, especially Saquon's the best player in the world. Even Jahan really contributed in the playoffs. The kid who went to Nazareth High School. So proud of these guys. And guys, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is the greatest state, the greatest football state in the United States. When you think about the high school talent, when you think about Mikey's Penn State Nittany Lions, and all the Super Bowls between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia now, it's the greatest football state in the world.
It's actually a pretty good state for recruiting. And maybe it's not as good as Ohio. I don't know. But you're right. They've gotten a lot of talent out of Pennsylvania.
I know. Florida's also hard to ignore.
Yeah, Florida too. But if you look at Ohio State doesn't get many players in Florida. They built the Midwest.
Yeah, my point, down in Florida, I'm glad you brought that up. In Florida, they don't give a damn about pro football. So there's a lot of talent that comes out of Florida. But in Pennsylvania, it's the whole package. It's everything. And that's why this is the greatest state for football.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is the greatest city for football. And, look, we're world champs. To state the obvious, I just want everyone out there
I got you there, Alex. Alex, would you like to play a little general knowledge against Ray here?
Let's do it.
All right. This is Jim Carrey movies. I'm going to give you a movie. You got to tell me whether Jim Carrey was in it or not. The movie is There's Something About Mary.
Yeah, he was in that.
He was not in There's
He
Something
was not.
About Mary. That was a Stiller situation. Ray? Was Jim Carrey in Man on the Moon? That's that Andy Kaufman
Yeah.
thing, right? Yeah.
Do you believe
Right.
they put a man on the moon?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
And
He
who
was
did
in
that?
it.
And who did that song?
That song was done by REM.
Very nicely done. Man on the Moon, you say what?
Sure, he was a part of it.
He was in it?
Yeah.
You are absolutely right. Oh, look at Ray. Taking a 3. Was that a 3-notch lead?
It's a 5-3 lead, I think.
5-3 lead.
So he's up 2.
All right, good stuff by him.
Very good
What do you think
stuff.
Pennsylvania is a football producing state? They produced you. No, Jersey produced
Well,
you.
technically, was born
You're
in
a
Philly.
Jersey guy.
I played in Jersey.
But you played in the tough environment of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Gettysburg, baby. The Gettysburg Bullets.
Right. Have you seen this picture of Bill that Bill has of himself with hair and flexing his muscles like this?
Did I ever show you my meathead pic?
Have you seen this picture?
No.
I'll show you
Oh,
during
my
the
God,
break.
My meathead.
You got to show the picture. You got to show it right in the camera.
Well, you think I'm a
Oh, my
meathead now.
God,
You got to see how jacked I used to be.
He took a picture of himself in a muscle pose.
Well, look, I was single ready to mingle back then. That's like 2000.
Wait a minute. You posted that picture to get chicks?
No, I don't think I posted it.
Oh, stop it. That was definitely on a
I don't
on a
think
dating profile
I don't think
for
I
you.
posted it because I don't even think I don't know if Instagram existed back then. Like I don't even know where I would have posted it. And I don't know Facebook.
But you keep that picture in your files
Oh,
of
I
you
like.
being the muscle man.
Yeah, I think you have to document what you used to be. Right.
610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Pulo promoted offensive coordinator. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles announced yesterday they're promoting Kevin Pulo to be the offensive coordinator following the departure of Kellen Moore to the New Orleans Saints. Pulo is known as Nick Sirianni's right-hand man, has been on the Eagles staff for the last 4 seasons. In the week following the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts was asked about the possibility of this happening, and here's what he had to say.
Kevin Patullo's never been he'd have a different role. So it's hard to compare, that role to this role because his job is going to demand something totally different.
Another year, another new play caller for Jalen Hurts. Eagles also will be hiring former Dolphins assistant Parks Frazier as a passing game coordinator, filling in for Patullo's former role. Adam Schefter reported this morning that Cam Jurgens underwent a back procedure to alleviate nerve pain and should be ready by training camp. Down in Clearwater, we're 2 days away from Grapefruit League action for the Phillies as they will play the Tigers. 76ers return to action tonight. There's Jason Tatum and the Celtics at 7 o'clock at the Wells Fargo Center. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And also tonight, Team USA facing Team Canada in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game at 8 o'clock. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. At Mercedes-Benz, there's a reason they go the extra mile, from testing their vehicles to creating AI that can anticipate your needs on the roads. They demand that every car is worthy of their star because it's Mercedes-Benz. I'm Ray Dunn, the home, the 76ers, and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
7:55, Mike Missanelli Show. Public service announcement here. This is really important. So, Bill, I think if you want something to do this weekend, people have heard me talk about it. I'm a part owner of a wonderful boutique winery in Cape May Courthouse, New Jersey, called Natalie Vineyards, and we're in the process of changing the name to Briganti by the Bay.
Yep.
But we got a big shindig going on this weekend at the winery.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 5, we're featuring some wine tastings with chocolate from the Cape May Fudge Kitchen. 3 tastings, 11, 1, and 3 p.m. And barrel tasting. Tour of the winery with our vintner, Tim. We go into the barrels where we have that wine stored, and you'll taste the wine right from the barrel.
Sounds lovely.
It's cool. It's really cool. I've done it. Now, I'm going to be there Sunday. So if you want to go down, I'll give you the address of Natalie Vineyards because we're still listed as that. If you put it on Google Maps. 221 North Delsey Drive. What number is that? What is that highway number, Bill?
Delsey Drive is that Route 55?
No, it's not.
322. 322.
Yeah. All right. So, 221 North Delsey. No, it's not 322 either.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I think you're Mr. Jersey. Anyway, 221 North Delsey Drive. That's Cape May Courthouse. Now, that's not Cape May. It's a little inland from Cape May. So Cape May Courthouse is a different city than Cape May. And that's where the winery is.
Yeah, it's Route 55, isn't it, Delsey Drive?
No, you get off at Route 55.
I don't know.
And you got it's another road. It's a 3-digit road. So anyway, 11, 1, and 3 tastings with chocolate, $20. You can't beat that. You get to taste all our wines with chocolate for $20.
I would have definitely come.
Yeah,
but I got a busy weekend.
I'm sure you do.
No, I actually do, Mike. I'm not big timing you.
Yeah.
I got my son's birthday party Saturday. I got a daddy-daughter dance Saturday night. And I got my Grandma Melly 90th birthday on Sunday. God bless her.
God bless her.
But I would have been there. That sounds like a great event.
I'm going to be there Sunday. And we have the same things going on Saturday and Sunday, the tastings and the barrel tastings. And we also have produced, Tim is an amazing vintner. Like people that in that area love fruit wines for some reason.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fruit wine guy, but I taste this guy's fruit wine. It is amazing. He's now just produced a blueberry fruit wine in addition to cranberry and cherry. And it is sensational. Like a balance to a cigar that have these fruit wines. I'm now in. And also we produced we're bottling rosé, which he's just produced.
Interesting. And I'm being told it's Route 47.
Route 47, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, got put on the board too.
It's Route 47.
It's funny. We bring up something like that. I get 12 texts, YouTube chat going crazy, Route 47.
Awesome. So anyway, if you come to the winery Sunday, I'll be there. I'll be hanging out.
You should bring your Penn State book.
My Penn State book?
Yeah, you could sign it for people.
Well, the Penn State book you haven't read? I'll bring my children's book, maybe.
You going to have the dog with you?
Yeah, I always bring her.
That'll be nice.
She roams around the vineyard.
Now, I would have definitely come. I just have Ellie's 90th.
That's all right. Ray, you're invited.
I appreciate it. I'm at the Poconos this weekend. My first off weekend.
My
so
two compadres came.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. I'm sure a lot of people will be show up. It's really fun. It's a fun event, especially the tour of the winery and the barrel tasting. It's in the barrel, and there's a little spout, and boom, you get a little taste out of it.
My parents stopped by to get the bottle of wine.
That's right.
So I do want to
parents
stop down there.
Your parents have been to the vineyard. Ray and Bill have not.
Now, I will be there this spring and summer, though. Definitely. Guaranteed.
All right. You are listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, 12 o'clock hour, we've got General Knowledge Wednesday going on. We'll start it with our old pal, Vicente from Lansdowne. Vicente, hola, amigo.
Hola, amigo, Mikey Miss. How are you?
Fantastic. Muy bien.
Listen, I got a breaking news to tell you.
What do you got?
I'm always bringing stuff that is very right. Tonight, the Sixers are going to play against the Celtics, and they are going to honor number 55 with the long finger, Dikembe Mutombo.
Oh, are they going to honor Dikembe?
Yeah,
Really?
they are.
Correctamundo.
Oh.
And they're going to give the phone finger to the first 5,000 attendees at the game.
Oh, that's good. That's good information by you. Nice work.
Yeah, I'm always bringing the best for you.
Beautiful. And you're playing, of course, you play General Knowledge for 6 year tickets.
Yes, later on. But let me tell you about Kevin Patullo.
Okay.
He's well deserved the promotion because he's been there for the Eagles 4 years, and he has a background resume with the Kansas City, with the Buffalo Bills, the Titans, and his college career from South Florida. So he was a player, quarterback, and a wide receiver. So he has been improving in acquiring knowledge. So, throughout the last 4 years, I think he's going to do marvelous things, You got to trust him.
Yeah, all right. Listen, I'm not against it. The only thing I'm saying is I actually was trying to play into Bill. Bill loves Serriani, right? So I'm thinking, wow, Sirianni's got enough clout now, and Bill's affection for him was justified in that they're gonna allow him to pick his own offensive coordinator, which they did not do the year before. I thought Bill would say, "Yeah, you're right. Nick's got some clout," but Bill's not into it. I don't understand.
No. And Nick earned his right to do that, counting on his own people. Trust him. That's what it is.
All right.
Okay, give me the general knowledge.
Got you. All right. Anyway, so Dikembe, just I love to speak a little Espanol with you, right? So you're telling us, gran noche en los Sixers porque están honrando a Dikembe Mutombo.
Correctamundo.
Thank you.
Honrando.
Honorando. Honoring, Bill, that means. Honorando.
Got it.
Honrando la memoria.
Yeah, you go. All right, man, here we go with the general knowledge category for you. Okay.
Mexico City.
Mexico City. All right. What? Have you read a lot of American books? No,
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me give you this one because I wanted to stretch your knowledge here. What book characters included two pigs named Napoleon and Snowball?
Napoleon and a Snowball.
Yes.
Is it a novel or a history book?
It is a novel. It was a very notorious and controversial novel by George Orwell.
Okay. Jeez. I honestly don't like too much literature.
That was a lie. I tell you what, I'm going to give you a different.
Is it 1984?
No. I'm going to give you a different.
Animal Farm?
Well, here it is. What commonly represents more than 40% of the tonnage shipped on American freight trains?
What was the question?
What commodity represents more than 40% of the tonnage shipped on American freight trains? When you see those American freight trains, what are they mostly shipping?
Steel.
That's a good guess, but it's incorrect. It's what, Bill?
I don't know.
It's coal.
Did you know that, Ray?
Nope.
All right, Ray, since you're a well-read man.
Sure.
What book characters included two pigs named Napoleon and Snowball?
Oh, I already said it. I said Animal Farm.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't
After
hear
you
you
said
say that.
1984.
I said 1984 or Animal Farm. Because I didn't think you were going to give that
Look at
question
you
to Ray.
knowing the two Orwell books that are most popular.
You guys don't give me credit for my intelligence.
What
I'm not just
came
a
out of
great,
Animal
good-looking
Farm?
athlete. I'm smart, too.
All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others.
I actually never read it.
You never
I actually only read 1984. I never
Yeah,
read
I
never
never
read
read
Animal Farm?
No.
Oh, man, that was like required reading.
1984 now, any minor inconvenience in my life. For
Yeah,
my friends, I say, oh, is this 1984? This world is falling apart thing.
Yeah, it's Animal Farm is a really interesting political type of book.
Gotcha.
Where it's the pigs have this hierarchy that they eventually get into, where the pigs become, some pigs become high-level pigs, and the other are peasants. It's a really clever book.
Got it. Like Planet of the Apes almost.
A little bit. 610-632.
Not really.
0975 is how you come in. We got to go back to the text board. What is the text board?
Well, no, Ray deserves a question.
Oh, Ray has to get a question? Didn't I give you a question?
No, because Bill's
I said I already told him it was Animal Farm.
Oh, okay.
So he got the question.
All right. If you travel, Ray, in a Hyperborean direction as far as you can go, where do you end up?
Travel in a Hyperborean direction as fast as you can go. Where do you end up?
First, you got to get to the Hyperborean part.
Yeah, no, the Hyperborean part is kind of the part of the sentence that right now is messing with the brain.
Hyperborean means extreme north.
As far as you can. I mean, that would be the North Pole. Like, I don't know.
All right, so if you're going, that's a stupid question, too. Let me change the question. The answer to the question
back where you started
is the North Pole. If you travel in Hyperborean direction, you said it, right?
Yeah,
you said it. So we'll give it to him.
But I didn't know what Hyperborean was. I don't want to run the audience out of the gym here.
All right, it's 5-3.
I can see people having
5-3.
problems with that one.
All right, give me another one now. What is the closest relative of the damselfly?
Oh.
The damselfly. I guess that's the female. That's a female? Damselfly?
The ladybug.
No.
Dragonfly.
Dragonfly. So wait, the dragonfly has a penis?
Is that true?
And the damselfly is the female? Oh.
No, it says they are similar to the dragonfly. It's not like it's a male and female.
It's not a male or female?
No.
Okay.
It just says they are similar to the dragonfly, but are usually much smaller and have slimmer bodies.
Oh, slimmer. Well, they're called damsels. They're a little more attractive. I don't know. It might sound real bad. The insects have...
I don't know what you're talking about.
The insects, like male insect... No, I don't even want to get into it.
We're going off the rails. We got the news at noon, though.
The news at noon is coming your way after this.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico.
12:12, Mike Missanelli Show. It is noonish, and it is time for what we call the news at noon, Ray.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Yes, the news at noon, where Ray Dunn digs out 3 interesting little tidbits, usually accompanied with audio, that we can kind of make fun of. So, Ray, what is today's news at noon?
This is a news at noon regular. We've had Jeff Teague clips consistently because he just doesn't pull any punches about the experience in the NBA. And a lot of guys will be asked their welcome to the NBA moment on the court. Jeff Teague experienced a welcome to the NBA moment off the court. He was seeing a woman, and he wanted to bring her to the club with his teammates. What ensued was information that he did not want to receive. Here is Jeff Teague recounting that evening.
I just brought a girl to the club one night as a rookie, and I had my arm around her. I was hyped, ready to show all my teammates. Like, she tough. And Josh Smith pulled me to the side and said, "Boy, 1, 2, yeah." And I said, "What you mean?" He said, "Yeah." He
was bleeding. She's a good girl.
Yeah,
Jeff Teague
explain it.
Showed up to the club
And
with
he said, the woman said, "Want to?"
Josh Smith pulled him aside and pointed to 2 of his teammates and said, "Yep, she's been with both those guys."
So he was out.
That was his welcome to the NBA moment.
Proud to show off the woman to his teammates.
Okay. Well, yeah, that happens. This happened in hockey locker rooms.
Oh, man. Ray, what are you doing to us here?
I'm not doing anything. Whatever you guys take from the audio that's given to you is your guys' reaction.
All right. Let's move on.
All right, last night, it was number 15, Missouri taking down Alabama. Missouri coach Dennis Gates hopped on the mic and wanted the audience to know you are supposed to stay in your seats. The crowd do not rush the floor.
Wow, Dennis Gates. Dennis Gates is on the mic saying, "Don't rush the court." Costs a lot of money these days.
What do you make of the please don't rush the floor for knocking off a top 5 team?
Can't do that.
No, and that makes them want to rush the floor even more, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, maybe not, but security should handle that kind of moment. You can't. Kids want to celebrate. I mean, I understand there's been a couple incidents where players got banged around a little bit, but come on. I mean, this is still college basketball, and that was a big win for Missouri. By the way, sleeper team on your NCAA poll.
Who, Missouri?
Yes.
You like them, huh?
Like them a little bit. They reversed. They had a terrible losing season last year. This guy's reversed the whole thing. What's next?
It's right around the corner, too.
All right, last one. Following up on a conversation we had earlier this week, the Gottlieb and LeBron James back and forth. I think we had the LeBron James, Jalen Brown. So if you're not following the Doug Gottlieb, LeBron James situation, Gottlieb had said that Bronny wouldn't be a starter for his team, University of Wisconsin, somewhere in the middle of Wisconsin. And right now, Gottlieb's team, I believe, is 2-24. I don't believe they've won in the calendar year 2025.
Wisconsin, Green Bay.
Green Bay,
Yeah.
that's what it is, yes. It's been a disaster for him. They just keep losing. And LeBron trolled him on social media with a bunch of laughing emojis when someone tweeted out what his record was. And Gottlieb finally got his chance to respond on the radio. Here is Doug Gottlieb responding to the trolling from one LeBron James.
Well, I had no idea. Like, I knew I had the day off at that point in time, and so all of a sudden I get like my phone just goes crazy when I was getting ready to hang out with Hayes and my son, and just like, "What'd you do to LeBron?" I was like, "I'm off, dude. I'm not on social media today. I'm not on anything. What are you talking about?" So people send it to me. I don't know. I don't think it speaks well for somebody who, like, don't you have the day off? Don't you have better things to do? My response is, Colin told me a long time ago, don't punch down, always punch up. So me talking trash to him would technically be punching up, and him is punching down. So I don't know. I mean, I guess pettiness and insecurity aren't limited to people who aren't super successful in their field. I guess that would be my response.
Shots fired. He continued it. Insecurity. Now,
And
he's right in
pettiness.
a little way, like LeBron to be agitated, something that fool said. But it's his son. So whoever says something about his son is going to get the cold stare.
Yeah.
Also,
Basically.
Whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
like your team's 2-24. I guess it was said obviously before they're 2-24. If Bronny James wanted to go to University of Wisconsin Green Bay,
Be a star. He'd be
they
a
would
star
have
there.
rolled out whatever green carpet they got. For
No, exactly. He'd be a star. Not only would he star for your team, he'd lead the team in scoring. You know what's really weird about these campuses, though? Wisconsin has these campuses. Wisconsin-Milwaukee, Wisconsin-Green Bay, and they're all Division I programs. It's like Penn State has a bunch of campuses around. Why don't Penn State have a branch campus that's a Division I program? Don't you find that odd?
Toontown going D1?
Like the Brandywine or like, how
Abington?
does Wisconsin? I mean, even like the California schools are all Division I, the branches of the main California school.
Carolina, UNC Wilmington,
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Yeah, you're right.
Isn't that strange?
It's kind of strange.
That's just because Penn State's an inferior school.
Well, what Penn State's trying to do is just collect all the power in one place.
Is that what it is?
Seems like it.
It's very strange that there's
It is
not,
interesting.
There's not another Penn State in the state of Pennsylvania that could be a Division I program.
Yeah, you're right. It's
Concentrated
interesting.
power.
Yeah, they're almost like like mini campuses, like junior colleges. The way they're set up.
Because if they did that, then maybe the wrestling team wouldn't be as good. So I'm giving you an opportunity. Go ahead.
Oh, the wrestling team is just magnificent. They're just, but the basketball team has lost 7 in a row.
Yeah.
So.
But the wrestling
I'm
team,
not
you told me
bragging.
the other day, what was it?
It's the greatest winning. They're like the UCLA of wrestling.
It's unbelievable.
Just a dominant program. They bounced around. Who'd they sell? It was Friday night. You watch Penn State wrestling. Now that's what I do.
That's your thing now.
Yeah, it's actually exciting.
Well, because you get to see Penn State be dominant at something.
And
and women's
they
volleyball.
just dominate all these other Big Ten schools, and these other schools are really good at wrestling. Like wrestling is a big thing in the Big Ten. 610-632-0975. Chuck in Havertown. We'll get to you after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Kevin Pulo, promoted offensive coordinator. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles announced yesterday that they're promoting Kevin Pulo to be the offensive coordinator following the departure of Kellen Moore to the New Orleans Saints. Pulo is known as Nick Sirianni's right-hand man and has been on the Eagles staff for the last 4 seasons. In the week following the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts was asked about the possibility of this happening, and here's a little bit of what he had to say.
Kevin Patullo's never been he'd have a different role. So it's hard to compare, that role to this role because his job is going to demand something totally different.
Another year, another new play caller for Jalen Hurts. Eagles also are hiring Parks Frazier as the passing game coordinator to replace Pulo in that role. Adam Schefter reported this morning that Cam Jurgens underwent a back procedure to alleviate nerve pain and should be ready to go by training camp. Down in Clearwater, we're 2 days away from Grapefruit League action as the Phillies and Tigers will play on Saturday. 76ers return to action this evening as they host the Celtics at 7 o'clock at the Wells Fargo Center. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Also tonight, Team USA faces Team Canada in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game at 8 o'clock. This update's brought to you by Mattress Firm. It's Mattress Firm's President's Day sale. Get matched to your perfect bed now and sleep at night. Plus, if you see a lower price, they'll match it. Restrictions apply. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
97.5 The Fanatic. It's a big hockey game. Is that tonight?
Tonight, 8 o'clock.
Tonight, 8 o'clock. And the hockey game is... all right, so hold on a second. Let's discuss this because there's an issue here.
There is a big issue. USA, Canada in Boston the night at 8.
It's in Boston. Now, games in Canada, the Canadian crowds have been booing the national anthem, which I say they have a right to do.
Oh, come on.
Our own John Kincade thinks the opposite.
Well, I'm with John just on the fact I don't think you should boo any national anthem.
Listen, dude. If you're Canada and you're being treated the way you're being treated by the United States in this new administration, protest is good. Good things come out of protest. Like, how do you tell Canadian people they shouldn't boo when they're being treated like some stepchild? They want to name them as the 51st state. There's been total disrespect for Canada because their politics are a lot different. How do you stop those people from booing, and why wouldn't you think that's appropriate? Now, the Americans shouldn't boo the Canadian anthem. Canada didn't do anything to America. Right? So in Boston, they shouldn't be booing the Canadian anthem. But if I'm a Canadian citizen, I'd boo the anthem too.
Yeah, I don't think you should boo any anthem at a sporting event. But I agree. I don't think the U.S. should respond and boo tonight, but they're going to. There's no doubt about it. They will boo when the Canadian national anthem is sung.
Because it's a byproduct. It's a backlash.
It's a response. Mm-hmm. I just think, at a sporting event, the fans don't need to do that, but it'll happen. It happened in Canada.
Protest has to happen where you get eyeballs on it. That's what protest is, Bill. You have to get reaction to get action.
I understand that.
And America has been dotted with protest, righteous protest, for centuries.
The boos will be extremely loud tonight in Boston. Again, and that's not a protest. That's just a response.
You're missing my point. You refuse to engage here.
Now, I understand the point of protest. I just don't understand the point of it at a four nations hockey event.
Really? So because it should be immune because it's a hockey event? So, in other words, Colin Kaepernick at a football event shouldn't have kneeled?
That's different.
What's different about it? It's the same thing.
It's a little bit different.
Why?
Because you're not talking about nation versus nation. It's a different thing.
You're talking about cause. Protest is against cause.
And the Canadians booing our national anthem is
it's showing that they have a cause that was disrespected.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like our anthem being booed.
Whatever.
But if I was talking to the fans in Boston, I would say don't respond, be above it. But they're going to respond and they're going to boo them back, and it is what it is. But I'm excited for the hockey game. It's going to be awesome.
I'm sure you are. Let's go to Chuck. And
I think a lot of people are. The ratings are through the roof for this game.
I can't wait. So, Chuck, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Chuck?
Hey, everybody. Great.
What's going on, Chuck? How you doing?
Yeah, good. That's Celtics Drive. That's 47, right?
Yeah.
What you're saying?
Yes, it's 47.
Yeah.
But then it goes. It's like 347. You have to take a spur off the 347 to get back on Delsey Drive.
Is that where the tasting is on 347?
It's where my winery is. It's on.
Okay.
Yeah, 340. It's 47, I believe. Yeah, Delsey Drive.
Yeah. We stayed there in the area last year. It's nice back there.
Yeah, KMA Courthouse. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've been to Seattle for years. Anyway, I meant to call Monday about the Phillies, and I mean, they're like you said, they're starting pitching. It's like to me, it's like having like what the Eagles have, a great offensive line. You can go a long way. Look, they have offensive talent if they would just hit when necessary. I mean, they'll go to the final. Well, I don't know if they'll beat the Dodgers, but I just meant to call Monday because we were talking about them during the day. And, anyway,
listen, I think they're a pretty solid team.
Every night's going to be intriguing.
Right. So if you have a solid team, why would you not run it back? Like, how can you? But my question is, how do you improve a solid team? Like, instead of the concept of running it back making you nervous, look at it why you're running it back. Well, you're running it back because they're good.
You have the basics. I mean, you have a lot still. I don't know. I mean, what can you do anyway? They made a couple moves, so what? I mean, that's enough. Like, I don't know. Well, we'll see. But, yeah, every night's going to be – I mean, with the pitching they have, They're
Now, Chuck, you going to be all fired up if they get out to a hot start, or are you going to be like, wake me up in October?
No, not at all. No, it's a long season. Every win's going to be fun. I think start good and finish good. You know,
Bill's a little worried that running it back, there's no changes, and Rob Thompson and all that. He's worried.
Well, you can't do anything anyway. Look, I'm excited because they do have a good offensive team. Come on, at its core,
there were only a couple things they could have done. But anyway, Chuck, let me give you a general knowledge question. Okay, it's history. What came first? All right. What came first? Buddha or Jesus?
Buddha.
Buddha is correct.
Wow.
Hold on a second.
Chuck got it.
Jesus. Buddha came 500 years before Jesus.
Would you have gotten that one, Ray?
No. Why not?
Okay.
You had a 50-50 shot.
Yeah,
Ray?
that's why I'm trying to think of the way I would have guessed, and I'm just going to assume I would have guessed wrong.
Ray, it's time for your question.
Okay.
Who came first? Bach or Beethoven?
I actually think I know.
You know?
I think I do.
I'll bet you $1 million that's a guess.
No, I think it's. Could I guess for Ray?
No, you can't guess for Ray. This is his question.
I'm going to go with. Let's go with the man Bach.
I would say that's
You're
right.
going
Sebastian Bach.
Johann Sebastian Bach.
That's the right answer.
Versus Ludwig von Beethoven. You're saying it's Johann Sebastian Bach.
Bach.
I'm with you, Ray. That's what I would have said right away and felt confident about it.
And why? Have you studied the compositions of Bach?
My senior year in high school, I took music history.
You did?
Wow.
You had the option of music history or art history. I took music history.
Wow.
So I think Bach is the correct
that teacher
answer.
just hated Bill.
Johann Sebastian Bach is correct.
How about that?
You see that?
Oh, man.
How about it?
All right, so our tally is what? Ray just is slaying. Audience, I need you to come up big here. Ray is running away with this thing. By 3?
No, I think 6-4.
6-4 right now.
Oh, it's 6-4 right now?
6-4. And unfortunately, the lack of participants is going to make it hard to catch Ray.
I know. We're having a lack of participants today. I don't know what it is. People are cold out there.
I don't know what's going on.
Anyway, we got text board all over the place, though, today. We've got, it would be like 25 text to 2 calls is the ratio today.
Yeah, the texts have been going crazy. The YouTube chat's going crazy. I'm getting called as soft as Charmin in the YouTube chat because I said I didn't like booing. So that makes me soft, I guess.
Well,
yeah, I'm as soft as Charmin. I thought you were a sportsman.
No, listen, booing players is different than why the Canadian people were booing.
I understand it.
I don't think you understand it. I don't think you're giving enough credit to the Canadian people. I think you're dismissive of the Canadian people. I really think you're being dismissive of the Canadian people, saying that they shouldn't boo because it's a sporting event. The Canadian people have been really chastised. They've been slapped with tariffs. They've been disrespected to the point where they're not even a country. They should be the 51st state of America. Like, well, how would you feel if you're a Canadian citizen?
We stand on guard. We stand on guard.
You got to make a joke. You're being an idiot.
I love the Canadian national anthem. Being a hockey player growing up, the Canadian national anthem, man, gives you goosebumps.
Would you shut up?
I'm serious. Especially when they do it in French.
Nonsense talk now. It's not even, you're on the, what is it with you that you can't engage in a subject?
Because it's
irritating me now that you're not engaging in a subject.
Either response, one, I said, I don't like booing anthems. It's not my thing. I wouldn't do it.
You don't like booing in general, which is fine.
But I wouldn't do it.
That's legitimate.
But then
this is a political protest.
Exactly. That's why I'm not going to get into it, because I don't want to go one side or the other on the political protest.
You can't respect somebody else's view?
I can respect it, but saying I don't like the booing part of it. I understand why the Canadians are booing. I just don't like it. I understand where their thought process
No,
is.
you don't, because if you don't like it, you're not understanding their viewpoint at all. Go back to the text board.
Yeah, get back to the text board, Greg. Before me and Mike go at it here.
One of the most annoying days I've spent here with Bill. Go ahead.
Bring in outside offensive coordinators every year because the success of the team has been nothing but a detriment to Hurts' develop. Hiring an unproven OC gives them a chance for consistency going forward.
The Pulo text doesn't seem to be hitting after me and Mike are going at it on this.
Well, luckily we got 1,000 more of them to choose from. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I agree with Mike on this one. Definitely threw Nick a bone. Do you think Hurts was a part of it also? Paul, the unread text. Oh, this is Paul from yesterday that was upset at me for not reading his text. You're lucky you got through, Paul. You're lucky you got through. I'm going to mark this number down.
Paul's the one that gets mad that you don't read his text, right?
Yeah. Paul yesterday texted, imagine Ray reading a text that goes against Mike. Everybody in the Delaware Valley. And for that, I said, Paul, I'm not reading your text. And today, Paul texts in, and I read the text.
Wow,
I'm going to mark this number down.
You learned him, Ray. That's for sure. So listen, I thought today I thought I was leading right into Bill, playing right into his hands. Like I was complimenting the fact that Serriani now has enough clout to pick a guy who's his buddy and who might be a good candidate. I don't know if he's a good candidate or not. We'll see. I don't have a problem with the selection. I thought I swelled with pride, actually.
I swelled
with pride, actually, that Nick Serriani finally got this kind of a clout where he what he wanted got done. And I thought you were going to, totally endorse it. You're not endorsing it at all.
Look, Serriani got his guy. I agree. I just think that it puts down Putulo's credentials to assume that he wasn't also Roseman and Laurie's guy, and it's not how the Eagles run their organization. They were all on board with this guy. It's the reason they didn't interview anybody else. It's not just Nick Sirianni's guy. Also, I'm surprised you didn't take an opportunity to think that me talking about Canada was because of my disdain for Rob Thompson.
I didn't put that together because it had no.
After we battled about Rob Thompson,
it had no relevance to the importance of the conversation,
Ray,
which you don't engage in the importance of the conversation.
Another reason Mike loves Rob Thompson. It's all coming out.
Right? Is he being an idiot beyond belief today? Is this
Time for break, folks.
Is this like Bill at the maximum idiot level? I think it is. I don't think there's been another day where you've been as much of an idiot. Is there something going wrong with you? Did you take a mushroom gummy or something?
It's your Rob Thompson love.
Mike Missanelli show back after this.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
1242, Mike Missanelli Show. 97.5. The Fanatic. Yeah, we played that Lou Rawls thing a little earlier, and I got a text or a tweet from Keep It Old School. That Barry White was the king of the talk intro. Barry White would talk into his intro when he did those romantic songs. Do you remember that?
It was such a good introduction. Who else does that? You said. You talking about Lou Rawls? Is there anybody else that you know offhand that does the intro?
I just said Barry White.
Oh, I thought you said Lou Rawls. Sorry, I'm reading some of the YouTube chat as I'm sitting down. I was just putting my headphones on. I didn't even hear what you said.
I got to get out of here today.
I barely heard.
I can't
you
wait. You
saw me sitting down.
Did you just hear with me with
Ray.
Barry White? I read the text from the guy.
But Ray, you saw
It
me
said,
sitting down with my headphones not on yet. as
Barry
he
White was the
talking.
king of the talk intro.
I heard the
I
king
just
of the
said it.
talk intro. I missed the Barry White part. As I was putting on my headphones, I couldn't hear you.
You're going to need one of those tall airport beers.
And then take a picture of it.
Tall airport
You got
beer.
that right.
Take a picture
Is it
of it.
today or tomorrow you're
AMA.
getting out of here?
Tonight.
Tonight. Oh.
7 o'clock.
Oh, fantastic. We got 36 holes tomorrow,
We
right?
have been offered a studio to record Serriani Love.
I think we've been offered a couple of them. People are big fans.
Retro City Studios.
Should we do it? Michael do the Lou Rawls intro?
I'm fine.
Hell yeah.
We got to do it.
Hey, you got change for a quarter? I got to make a phone call. Notice the thing, you got change for a quarter. That's when phone calls were a dime. That's why you needed change for a quarter.
I didn't think about that. It was just
yeah, really.
Yeah, you're right.
You got change for a quarter. So that was recorded in like early 70s. Phone calls were a dime.
Right, there used to be things called payphones.
They didn't
Yeah,
even.
Maroon 5 wrote a song about it.
But
Thanks.
you think Lou Rawls was? They had 5, 10, and 25-cent slots in those old payphones, right? You think Lou Rawls would spring for the quarter for a phone call instead of a dime? Right?
What if you had to make multiple phone calls? A 10 cent, and a 5
Hey,
cent.
just calling home. You gotta see what happened at the address, man. I hope that woman don't take me through no changes today because I had a hard day today. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if he makes that phone call and it seems like it's not going to be advantageous to go home, you make a call down to the
It's
local
like-
watering hole. You
I
go
can
down
see
there.
a miserable man calling home, right? Because he has to call home, and all of a sudden he sings, "How you doing? I hope you're fine." All right, let's get back to the text board. What we got, right?
We got a lot of people still
plenty
checking
more
in.
texts.
Then we got a lot of Route 47 texts earlier. The way you said that you got like a dozen texts over Route 47, we got a ton of
Yes.
Route 47 people checking in.
No, it's Route 47.
Yeah, this one. Keep Frank Reich away from this offense. And that being said, let's hope this new OC has a backbone to contest Sirianni on a decision. That's from
And therein lies the worry. Therein lies the worry that the endorsement of Kevin Pulo means that Nick can get his grubby little fingers back into the offense, Bill. And I thought you would like that.
I still believe what you saw this season was a lot of Nick Sirianni's offense. I mean, even with Kellen Moore coming in here, and we know with Brian Johnson it was still Sirianni's offense. This offense is Nick Sirianni, but more importantly, it's Jalen Hurts' offense. So Kevin Pulo knows Jalen Hurts. That's why I think the Eagles made the decision. As much as I thought, hey, go outside the organization, I think they made the decision to promote a guy who's been around Jalen Hurts his entire professional career, who understands his skill set. Because even when Kellen Moore got here, he couldn't call the offense the same way he did under Dak Prescott or with Justin Herbert. You have a unique quarterback who has a unique skill set. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of what you saw this year was Nick Sirianni. I think Nick Sirianni's offense is never going away. And it's going to be the same this season. I don't think it's a drastic change, even with the friend being promoted.
I agree. I don't think it'll be a change. They have to play it kind of the same way. But I really liked the autonomy of an offensive coordinator where Nick didn't get involved. But by the same token, I know that Nick somewhere, in the back rooms, still gets involved in that whole thing.
Well, I don't know if it's true or not, because with Sirianni, he tries to protect his people. But you remember this whole season, Sirianni took the blame for certain play calls early in the year.
Yeah.
We heard the mic'd up. We know he told Kellen Moore, just call it on that dagger to Devontae Smith. So he's involved. I think it was always, I've said it all year, I thought it was overblown that he was just a glorified cheerleader. I think he always was involved in this offense. But more importantly, it's a Jalen Hurts offense, and it always will be.
Okay, I just looking at Twitter. For some reason, Jason Tatum's in town.
For tonight's game.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
So he went to the game last night for the Catholic League.
He went to the Catholic and he got booed.
Yeah,
and with them saying "F the Celtics."
Yes.
How do you feel about that at a high school game where they're going "F the Celtics"? You have a problem with that?
Catholic League, no less.
The Catholic League. The Catholic League. They're throwing F-bombs around. Bill, I don't know. You like that?
We talked about it with the parade too, with so many F-bombs. Like, I'm okay with it every once in a while for that, shock reaction, like when Utley did it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like if I had my kids there last night at the Catholic League high school basketball game, I'm not expecting a bleep the Celtics chant and then having to explain to my kids what that means. But come on, Ray. But you don't have a 6-year-old, dude, who repeats everything.
But you liked the fact that Utley said that.
Well, I kind of liked when it's like unique and not overly blown. Like too often. When Utley did it and he dropped it, it was the only F-bomb of the day up there. It was raw, it was edgy, it was exciting. You listen to this Eagles past one, there was like 30 F-bombs, maybe more. It's like, all right, it loses its luster. Do I have Ricky Bo behind me? Oh.
No, he just walked.
I saw Vito looking over my shoulder.
No, he just walked past.
But, no, I mean, look, it's fine. I'm not going to be the old man who gets mad at the F the Celtics chants, but kind of inappropriate at a high school game, right? I mean, it's kind of inappropriate, right? What are you saying, oh, come on for? You don't think there's any inappropriateness to that?
Yeah, it's the first time that's ever happened in a high school.
I have absolutely no opinion anymore. I'm sorry. I have no opinion. I have no opinion with any of your political views.
Look, there's a part of me as a Philadelphia fan who loves it. Like, oh, it's hilarious. But then there's a part of me who's a father who says, oh, man, that would be tough to try to explain to the kids why they can't do that when they go to school.
Here's why it's not appropriate. Because the Sixers blow.
Well, that's the third thing.
And Sixer fans should not be taking liberty by saying F the Celtics. And that's the old thing. Scoreboard. Scoreboard. Like, that's what you can't put yourself out for further humiliation. You're going F the Celtics, and your team's not even in the play-in.
Not true. Their team, Roman Catholic, is going for the three-peat this weekend. When the Celtics are going for a three-peat, then Jason Tatum can talk.
Well, give me those games. I'm going to set a line on those games now.
It's Roman and Judge, I think, in the final.
Is it Sunday. Roman and Judge on Sunday?
I believe so.
So Roman defeated who?
Roman took down, was it Devin Prep last night? And then it was Judge taking down St. Joe's Prep.
Judge taking down St. Joe's Prep. Wow,
yes.
Really?
I believe that was the final from last
Father
night.
Judge is back on top?
Yeah, well, our guy Kevin Cooney is all fired up about it.
Roman versus Judge.
For the title, Sunday afternoon.
All right, let me set a line here. Sunday afternoon. I make Roman a 6.5-point favorite over Judge.
I was there earlier in the regular season when Judge knocked off Roman.
Judge beat Roman?
Earlier this season, I was there. Big
revenge game. I like my line even more.
Well, a lot of Roman Catholic folks who listen to this show appreciate what you're saying about
6.5-point favorite. I got the Cahillites.
I wouldn't have anywhere close to knowing how to handicap that game.
Against the Crusaders of Father Judge, Bill.
Where you're not going to be there, Ray? You're going to be in the Poconos?
I think I'm going to end up there.
You'll make it down?
I'll make it back in time for that. I'm going to try at least.
You're going to go to the game?
I'm going to try.
Really?
Yeah, it's the Catholic League playoffs at the Palestra. Kidding me?
You weren't in the Catholic League, were you?
No.
You didn't go to a Catholic League school, did you?
But it's an awesome setup. You play at the Palestra, watching Stars of Tomorrow today. I'm in.
Look at that.
Look at that.
That's what Jason Tatum was.
Do you think that they'll say, like, bleep Temple when Ray walks in?
No.
They'll have no idea when I walk
Temple's
in.
having a rough season.
Speaking of rough season.
Started out really good, and now it's going to ride. We're 0 teams in the NCAA tournament again in the Philadelphia area. That's terrible. Mike Missanelli Show continues after this.
Fanatics Sports Update.
Pulo promoted to offensive coordinator. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that is built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. The Eagles announced yesterday they're promoting Kevin Pulo to be the offensive coordinator following the departure of Kellen Moore to the New Orleans Saints. Pulo is known as Nick Sirianni's right-hand man, has been on the Eagles staff for the last 4 seasons. In the week following the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts was asked about the possibility of this happening. Here's a little bit of what he had to say.
Kevin Patullo's never been he'd have a different role. So it's hard to compare, that role to this role because his job is going to demand something totally different.
Another year, another new play caller for Jalen Hurts. The Eagles also be hiring Parks Frazier as passing game coordinator to replace Pulo in that role. Adam Schefter reported this morning that Cam Jurgens underwent a back procedure to alleviate nerve pain and should be ready by training camp. Down in Clearwater, we are 2 days away from the Phillies opening up a Grapefruit League action against the Tigers. 76ers return to action this evening. They host the Celtics at 7 o'clock at the Wells Fargo Center. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Some news out of the NBA. Shams just reported that Victor Wembanyama is going to be out for the season. We'll continue to follow that story for you. Also tonight, Team USA faces Team Canada in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game at 8 o'clock. This update is also brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring today. Robert Half is here to help. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
56, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. It's General Knowledge Thursday, but it's a continuation of General Knowledge Wednesday. We kind of got short-circuited yesterday with our internet, so we weren't on YouTube, and a lot of people thought we weren't doing the show, but we were doing the show. So we decided to carry it over for today. Ray has a two-win lead.
He's up 6-4.
He's up 6-4.
And we're giving away two prizes.
Yeah, we're giving away a pair of tickets for the Sixers against the Nets this Saturday. And we're giving away a pair of Union tickets for their opener. That's Saturday, March 1st against FC Cincinnati. 7:30 p.m. night game. That'll be exciting at that stadium.
That stadium is always exciting.
Football season ends. Football season begins. Tickets are on sale for your Union. We, of course, are the flagship of the Philadelphia Union. 12 o'clock hour is brought to us by Service First HVAC, offering 0% financing for 48 months, rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system. You can learn more at servicefirsthvac.com. Okay, they hired Kevin Pulo. I think that this is a reflection of new clout that Nick Serriani has. That's his guy. He thinks this guy's going to be a superstar as he put his arm around him. So they're buds, and they look alike, and they probably have the same interest in the whole bit. I'm looking at it. What's really funny is there was a story prior to the hiring of Kevin Pulo. There was a story that said a starting six-step Eagles off-season plan to run it back. The first one was to extend Serriani, which I got. All right,
that's going to happen.
He needs an extension, and
Hell yeah.
he's gonna make $16 million at least a year.
So much good.
That's insane, isn't it?
Ben Johnson's getting $13 million a year, and Sirianni got on his knees and thanked that contract because he's going to make more than that. He won a Super Bowl. Why could you justify paying him less than Ben Johnson?
You can't.
The second part of this is hire an experienced play caller as offensive coordinator, which they have not, because this guy has not called plays, which makes me think more of Sirianni had clout to get this done, because this is not an experienced play caller. Now, we also talked about the job of offensive coordinator, the way this team is set up, I don't think would be that difficult. So maybe that plays into it. But I am absolutely certain this is a reflection of the newfound clout that Nick Sirianni has, because when you look at it, after last season, the late season collapse, he had to campaign for his job. And Laurie and Roseman said, yeah, okay, you're going to keep the job under these conditions. We're hiring the coordinators. So we're going to hire Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, and you're going to be like a CEO guy. All of a sudden now he has reasserted his control. He has won a Super Bowl. So there's no way that those guys could say no if he goes in and says, listen, Petulo's ready. I believe in him. We're going to go with this guy, blah, 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 blah. I believe that absolutely happened, and I believe that they deferred to him because of his newfound clout. Bill does not believe that. Now, this is the Mike Missanelli Show. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, and WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibility. So when you hire a new offensive coordinator, naturally, you want to have the quarterback on board with it. Before this hire was made and it was being discussed, Jalen Hurts had some things to say. And now I want you to listen to this closely and figure out whether you think he's endorsing him or not, or is this just the way Jalen Hurts does things?
Kevin Petulo's never been he'd have a different role. So it's hard to compare, that role to this role, because his job is going to demand something totally different of him. And I have a lot of confidence in him and what he's shown. However, I know, over the years I've learned that's out of my jurisdiction. And so kind of just taking things as they come and trying to go out there and be the best I can be and just learn and evolve.
All right. You want to dissect that? He first started out by saying, well, Kevin Petulo has never been and then he stopped. And he went, he'd have a different role here. And I think what he meant to say is that he's never been a play caller. He's never been an offensive coordinator. And that's the first thought that came to his head. Now, yeah. I know I like to read into things every now and then. But to me, the first thing that should come to your head is, Kevin's a good man. And if they decide to go with him, we're going to make it work, or like something like that. But his first instinct was Kevin Patullo has never been he'd have a different role, but I have confidence in him. And then he goes, but that's out of my jurisdiction. Well, maybe, but if you're the quarterback and you like this guy, I would think you would have more positive things to say about him. No? Am I wrong?
I don't know, and I've heard this clip so many different times now, and at first I had the same opinion of you as you had, where it's like, oh, well, maybe he's not really given that ringing endorsement, but I just think he didn't want to say too much one way or another, because he would have kind of been damned if he did, damned if he didn't. If he would have thrown his support behind Patullo, and then they go in a different direction, now it's all Jalen Hurts is upset they didn't promote Kevin Patullo. Or if he doesn't support him and then they hire him, now we're asking, does he in fact like Kevin Patullo? I think he was just trying to sit it out. I really do. I think he was trying to stay neutral, because look what happened when Brian Johnson got promoted, and that was billed as this is Jalen Hurts' guy, and it didn't work out. I just think he's trying to stay the course. But, I mean, yeah, I guess it couldn't have hurt if he said, I have a lot of faith in him, and just ended it there. He started it with, he's never done this before.
Kevin Patullo's never been, he'd have a different role. So it's hard to compare that role to this role, because his job is going to demand something completely different of him. And I have a lot of confidence in him, what he's shown. However, I know, I've learned over the years, that's out of my jurisdiction. Just kind of taking things as they come and trying to go out there and be the best I can be and just learn and evolve.
Is there a chance, this is me galaxy braining this to a very, very large degree, that Jalen Hurts, in his head, was trying to process whether or not he thought he had been an offensive coordinator before, didn't know the answer to that question, and didn't want to actually say something that was fake and wrong,
there you go,
and trying to filter himself out?
Yeah,
that's a whole different angle.
He could have done that, but his first thought was to think that he wasn't a coordinator.
Oh, yeah, the original thought stays the same, but I'm trying to figure out why he would stop mid-sentence.
Yeah, I mean, people on the YouTube chat are saying...
I think he stopped in mid-sentence because the next part of that was Kevin Patullo's never called plays.
Yeah.
And he knew that would come off bad, so he stopped.
Well, like MBD on our YouTube chat said, it sounds like his initial reaction was, hell no, and then he caught himself.
Yeah.
I just think Hurts is so guarded in not giving up too much to the media that I think he's on board with this. I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles, and again, this goes to my point about I don't think Serriani just big-time everybody and said, I have clout now, I want Patullo. I guarantee you everyone was involved in this decision, including not only Roseman and Lurie, but Jalen Hurts. He was consulted, and they all agreed this is the best path. I don't think that – I'm not reading too much into Hurts' comments. He's too robotic.
All right.
That's the funny thing that makes me chuckle.
Funny thing that makes me chuckle. 610-622-0975.
Sounds like a DNA thing.
The general knowledge questions today are general knowledge history. What came first in Jim Carrey movies? If you would like to participate,
can I get a Jim Carrey movie for fun?
You want a Jim Carrey movie?
I want to be a part of this.
All right, Jim Carrey.
I want in, right? The callers would get credit for this.
Was Jim Carrey in Sonic the Hedgehog?
He was. He plays the villain, if I'm not mistaken.
Look at you. That's correct.
We're giving that to the callers, right? It's a 6-5 game.
All right, here's one. Was Jim Carrey in Zoolander?
This for me?
It's for you, Ray.
No, he was not in Zoolander.
That is correct.
Good job.
How do you know so much about Jim Carrey, officer? Well, you know every one of Jim Carrey's movies?
Well, no,
you don't watch any movies at all. You know all his movies?
There was one that I had a hardcore guess that was fantastic, and I give myself a lot of credit for that one. This one isn't Stiller Zoolander?
It's Stiller. Will Ferrell actually has a small part in it.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of the crossover of Stiller and Carrey in movies.
There is a you can mistake them sometimes.
But I knew it was
like the
Stiller
guy
that was
said
in
there's
that
something
movie.
about Mary which sounds like it would be a Carrey movie, but it isn't. But there's something that's kind of close to that he's in.
Me, Myself, and Irene.
Yes.
Right? Similar.
Yes.
Great movie, by the way. Me, Myself, and Irene.
If you're asking me specifically how I got that one, Zoolander I knew was Stiller, and I didn't think there was any. I don't know how many movies the two of them actually appear together. So if Stiller's in it, I don't think Carrey was in it.
Are they in any movies together? I'm not sure they are.
That's the way I processed that one. I was like, Stiller's in it, can't be a Carrey movie.
Huh. Can't have them both because they would conflict.
I guess.
For laughs. Yeah. If I'm Stiller, I probably wouldn't want Carrie in my movie.
Yeah,
All right,
very similar.
610-632-0975. We'll get back to the text board. If you want to chime in, you can play General Knowledge Wednesday with us. A lot of people seem to be afraid to challenge Ray. Ooh.
Good reason.
Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Tyrone Johnson.
Nick Seriani clearly.
Seven and a half.
7.5, and everybody's playing for the Sixers?
I believe. Let me check. Oh, it's down to 7. Money line plus 240 on the 76ers tonight. I'm going to make a bold prediction here.
Plus 240?
I would not bet it. I've told you that before. I'm staying away from betting for or against our 76ers because they're so unpredictable. I think the Sixers win tonight.
What's the Celtics money line?
Minus 295.
I'm betting it.
Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it.
There's no way.
The Sixers.
No way the Sixers win tonight.
They're going to come out. They've had a few. What? How long they've been off? None of them played in the All-Star
They
game.
beat Boston. This is a revenge game for the Celtics, isn't it? You can tell me they're going to lose 2 straight to the Sixers? They beat them last time they played, didn't they?
Be hilarious if the Sixers just owned the Celtics this season. That was the only thing they got.
Yeah, that's the difference. I'm telling you, Sixers win tonight, Ray. Mark it down. I'm not betting it. I don't have that much confidence.
I'll take a sandwich on that.
All right.
Done. 7.5 down to 7.
So I'm taking
revenge.
I'll take the Sixers with the 7 points, but I would be.
Wait a minute. I'm not giving you any points. You said the Sixers are going to win tonight.
All right. You're giving me Sixers money line. Well, then that means.
Sixers money line.
All right. But then that would mean if the Sixers lose, you get 1 sandwich. If the Sixers win, I get 2.
You got it.
Ray, you went in on this?
You don't eat sandwiches. 2 Kind bars.
I'll take his sandwich if
it's for 2 Kind bars and it's all right. I'll throw a sandwich to Ray.
I eat sandwiches. We still got to do the cheesesteaks, man.
Yeah, we got to get, what was it, John's? We got to get John's up in here.
We should get John's, and then I should call Danny over at Angelo's, and we'll get some Angelo's, too, while we're at it. Head over there after the show one day.
We also have an offer from the Capitol Grill.
Capitol Grill, and that restaurant.
When did that happen?
Was having a long time ago. He's wanted to bring in. He's a fan of the show, the general manager, and he's wanted to bring in a spread for us. I just couldn't figure out what day would be great. I was thinking about it tomorrow, but that's not going to work
because you're not here.
I'm not going to be here.
Right.
But Bill suggested something for tomorrow, Ray. If the topics are a little slender for tomorrow's
I got
show.
a great topic for tomorrow.
Bash Mike.
Yeah, we're going to open up the phone line for people to just call and let loose on Mike Missanelli.
Criticize Mike. What do you dislike about Mike Missanelli? I think it would be fascinating. And it would be very educational for you.
Mike's not going to listen, though. So you know how
no, it takes significant. But then Ray will write down the top 10 things they don't like about me, and I'll reform my behavior.
We could form a bracket, and we'll do the bracket on Monday.
The field of 64.
Yeah.
All Mike's worst qualities. See what wins.
That would be fantastic. And of course,
Welcome back from Florida.
I would take it as a learning experience. After I hunt down those bastards.
This is the sound of me blocking you.
Oh, man.
Let's go to Rick in Brick, New Jersey. Rick, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, what's up, guys? I love the show.
Thank you.
I'm a huge Eagle fan. I'm just recuperating now, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Things are starting to come down. I got a chance to watch the Super Bowl again over the weekend, and I'm kind of excited about next year. I think we're going back.
They would be the favorite to go back, certainly.
I mean, especially with the young defense that we have. I mean, I know we're going to lose some. I know we can't keep everybody, but I do have a question for you. Do you think the Eagles would pull the trigger after Myles Garrett?
I'd love them.
They could.
I mean, especially that would help so much with Carter and Davis. It would free them up.
What it would do for that defense is incredible. There's no denying it. It's just whether or not they have enough draft capital to get it done.
Would 2 first-round picks get it done? Would you give 2 first-round picks?
I would.
Yeah, I would. The problem is it's the bottom of the draft. It's number 32. Now, Dan Graziano, who is kind of tied into the NFL, he was on ESPN this morning. I showed Ray, and he said this is the exact type of move that Howie Roseman would make, is Myles Garrett, which isn't news-breaking. We know he loves that kind of stuff, Howie.
Yeah, true. And I just have a question, if you could settle the debate between me and my friend. Do you think this is the best Eagles defense of all time?
Yep.
Oh, definitely?
Yep.
Okay. All right, thanks.
All right, you want to play general knowledge?
No, not really.
Not really.
Wait, did he ask you best Eagles team or best Eagles defense? Which
defense?
One? Defense. I think it's both, right?
Yeah.
Best defense and the best. People will still hold on to that 1991 date.
Because it was vicious defense. They like that. Yeah. Body bag concepts. Yeah. Casey in Montreal. Casey.
Mike, what's up, Mike?
Casey, are you a Canadian?
Yes, I am. I am.
Okay. All right. So were you endorsing the booze of the anthem?
Well, you know what? First of all, I don't think I don't really like anthems being played at sporting events. I think it's a waste of time. But But yes, I was endorsing it because how the hell else are we supposed to voice or anything? There's no way.
And that's what I like about protests. When you feel that strongly about a cause, you should stand up for the cause.
Exactly. Listen, I have a bone to pick with you, though, Mike.
All right, go ahead.
You treated me like the first time, long time. So first of all, I love your show, but I feel like the kid that was waiting for his dad to come home with the milk. I mean, I was on your podcast for so long, and then you said you'd be back, and then I never heard. And it took me 2 months to figure out where you were. I was waiting at home.
I'm sorry, man. It was pretty newsy that I came back to the radio. So the podcast that I had took a hiatus.
Well, I guess it's like Tommy and Goodfellas. They didn't come up and tell me, They didn't come. They didn't come up.
Yeah, maybe they didn't go up there and tell you. You've been away a long time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And lastly, just two more things. I love Bill, but man, he reminded me of Bricktop from Anchorman. With that was just that was bad stuff. I felt like just pummeling my steering wheel. That was horrible.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Which one? Which one did he say today that made you pummel?
Not wanting to engage in healthy debate, just giving up.
He did. He gave up. He didn't want to. He didn't want to engage.
Unbelievable. And second,
it's very weak of Bill.
Yeah, I was listening. By the way, I was listening yesterday, and I got to protest one of the trivia answers for the listeners because Jim Carrey, in fact, was an Anchorman.
He was
Anchorman 2.
He was Anchorman 2.
Oh, gotcha. You're right. Yeah, Anchorman 2. Yeah, Anchorman 2. You guys are on.
Yeah.
I'm ready for mine, though.
All right, here we go. We are in the general knowledge category. Oh, man, I don't know. This might be too hard for you, dude.
I'm a Canadian. I'm a smart guy.
All right, what legendary ghost ship is doomed to sail the oceans forever?
Oh, my God.
I can't give you that. Are you kidding me? I can't give you that one. Let me give you
the Black Pearl?
No, it's a Flying Dutchman.
Oh, come on. I'm so mad.
Wait, the Black Pearl is from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Wait, you had the Flying Dutchman?
Yeah, it's in SpongeBob.
It's a SpongeBob.
Oh, my God, Ray.
All right, here's the question.
Come on. You got to get it any way you can.
What city used to have the world's tallest building, the busiest airport, and the largest aquarium at the same time?
Wow. Used to. Let's go with Chicago.
Correct.
Wow, it's a good guess.
Oh, man, hold on a second here, Casey from Montreal.
Well, Casey from Montreal is probably not coming down for Sixers and Union games, but
it still counts as the dub.
But we could put him in the mix.
Ray? What was the last name of Nelson and Winnie?
Nelson and Winnie? Mandela. I don't know.
That's correct.
That would have been my guess too, Ray.
It's correct. Mandela. Ray just taking that comfortable 2-point lead. The Mike Missanelli Show coming down the home stretch.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Pulo promoted to offensive coordinator. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles announced yesterday they're promoting Ken Pulo to be the offensive coordinator following the departure of Kellen Moore to the New Orleans Saints. Pulo is known as Nick Sirianni's right-hand man. He's been on the Eagles staff for the last 4 seasons. In the week following the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts was asked about the possibility of this happening, and here's a little bit of what he had to say.
Kevin Patullo's never been he'd have a different role. So it's hard to compare, that role to this role because his job is going to demand something totally different.
Another year, another new play caller for Hurts. The Eagles also be hiring Parks Frazier as the passing game coordinator to fill the vacancy left there by Pulo. Adam Schefter reported this morning that Cam Jurgens underwent a back procedure to alleviate nerve pain and should be ready by training camp. Down to Clearwater, we're 2 days from the Phillies opening up Grapefruit League action. 76ers return to action this evening. They host the Celtics at 7 o'clock at the Wells Fargo Center. You can catch the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Also tonight, Team USA faces Team Canada in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game at 8 o'clock. This update is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation.
the worst thing you can do. Pack a gummy bear in your mouth when you're coming back on the air.
You love those little gummy candies out there. You can't walk by it without grabbing one.
So do I,
Tremendous.
to be fair.
Yeah. All right, here, let me just clarify, because we're getting a lot of feedback on this Canadian anthem thing. A lot of people slamming you, a lot of people slamming me. That's fine. This is the way I feel about protest. I admire when people stand up for a cause. The cause is personal to them, and they think that much of it, that they have to defend their cause. I think that represents strength, and I admire it. Protest, standing up for a cause that's important to them in the face of opposition is very courageous. And if I'm a Canadian, I would feel the same way that those people feel up there. Now, I happen to be one of the closest guys I've ever gotten to know in this business is John Chaney. He believed tremendously in his cause, which was the denial of opportunity to minority students who come to Temple University and couldn't play their first year because of that concept called Proposition 48, where you couldn't even practice with the team. He saw that as a denial of opportunity. And eventually people started, he's right. You're denying kids an opportunity to be educated because the sports part keeps them educated and keeps them engaged in the college curriculum. So when people have that much dedication to a cause, and people, well, why do you have to do it there? Why wouldn't you do it there? It's like Kaepernick. Well, I don't. I respect the fact that he wanted to protest, but why do it at work? What is he going to do it in his home? You got to. A protest is only effective when you do it in front of people, so they get to know what your cause is.
Anything else?
You just refused to even comment. It's amazing to me.
Well, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. I just think that there's a time and place for everything, including these types of discussions.
There's a time and place for everything.
Including these types of discussions. I don't think it's a discussion for 97.5 The Fanatic.
It's a sports conversation. Basically, it involves sports.
Yeah, but you get such strong differing opinions on both sides.
Differing opinions is maybe what the world goes around.
I agree to an extent. But I like sports opinions. This isn't a sport opinion. This isn't us disagreeing about should they have hired Pulo, should they have this. We're gonna, because then what happens is you open up the door. It's a Pandora's box.
So occasionally you open up to different views, and people have different views. Conversation and different views is what solves world problems.
And how many people can you convince to change their opinion about?
Am I trying to change their opinion? I'm saying my opinion is that they're righteous for a cause to boo the anthem. I respect the fact that they feel that way, just like they would have to respect us if we felt a certain way.
And what I'm saying is it's Pandora's box.
What you're doing right now is cowardice.
No, it's not.
That you won't even engage with it.
It's not that it's cowardice. It's that I don't think people, when we have topics and we have opinions, I think this goes into things that people don't want to listen to. That's my opinion on it. I just don't think people want to open up that box. Like what you're saying, fine. But then what happens is it can't end there because then people have other opinions that go down. It's just a
statement. You can make a statement. Either you would disagree with it or agree with it. It doesn't have to turn into a discussion where we're talking about it on the air. It's just a relative topic to what's going on. It was brought up in a morning show about whether the Americans are going to boo the Canadians tonight in that big hockey game. It is an issue that surrounds the hockey game. You said that the Americans are probably going to boo the Canadians in backlash.
Oh, I think it's going to be a guarantee.
Okay, well, then it becomes a topic to discuss.
Yeah, I think it'll be a guarantee. But what happens is then we lose sight of the fact that this is an incredible hockey game.
We don't lose sight of it. It's just a subordinate issue to it.
The way I look at it is always when it comes to this type of stuff. I mean, how many times are people changing other people's opinions on this stuff? Never.
Who cares about changing an opinion? Do you see me here trying to change someone's opinion? I'm telling you, what I'm saying is I respect people's right to protest. Because when I look at America, the right to protest changed a lot of bad things into good in this country.
I agree with your stance on the right to protest. What I'm saying is when you start these type of topics, it doesn't end there because now it turns out well, what are they protesting? And then it goes even farther into, well, are they right for protesting that? And now it becomes this whole political topic that I don't like to engage in. So I don't call it cowardice. I just think it's a intelligent thing to avoid.
Oh, it is. Okay. So are you,
For me,
are
that's
you
my
actually
position.
capable of discussing this?
Not on a 97.5 The Fanatic.
Okay. So we'll talk about it after
You
the
and I
show?
will have a conversation off air. There we go.
Okay.
Which
all
we
right.
have. You and I have talked about stuff.
Yeah.
We've talked off air.
Listen, I thought that the backlash that Colin Kaepernick got was disgraceful. He felt that strongly about his issue. Now, if you don't agree with him, fine. But you can't admire a guy who felt that strongly about that he would sacrifice almost his whole career by standing up for what he believed in? You don't admire that? Let's go to Andre in Princeton. Andre, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Andre.
Hey, Mike, I agree with you 100%. Bill, love you, love the show, but I do think you're being a little bit weak right now. I think being able to have the conversation, it's not like no one's telling you to, agree or disagree, but you should be able to have the conversation. You should be able to say, like, you know what, I respect people who are willing to stand up for a cause, because the reality is that's the fabric of our country. Our forefathers stood up for a cause and weren't afraid of upsetting someone or differing opinions. And I know it's a sports show, but it's part of sports. It happens in sports. It happened to Team USA. People were booing. So it is a sports opinion. Whether you like it or you don't, you're allowed to talk about it, and I agree with Mike. People who stand up for a cause are admirable because it takes courage. It takes a lot of courage to be able to stand up in front of thousands of people and know that they're going to hate you for it. It doesn't take courage to be like, I don't want to talk about it. So that's all I have to say. Love you both. Love the show.
Well, since we're in a love fest here, you and me, can we do like a little general knowledge?
Sure, I'll go.
All righty then.
All right, we need it.
All right, we'll go to history. What came first? All right, what came first? Marinara sauce or pasta?
I'm going to have to say pasta.
That is correct. Pasta is correct, and we got
Wait
another.
a second. How is that even proven? Like, how do you know somebody didn't squash a tomato and put it on top of something long before pasta was created? I don't think this one. I'm
going to tell you. I'm going to tell you.
Can this be proven?
I'm going to tell you how it's proven. It is proven that the Chinese were making noodles before the year 1000. So pasta was then took it to the noodles to another level. Nobody knew what to put on pasta. Like the sauce was invented later. Hey, this goes together.
I guess the definition of it as marinara sauce. You know what I'm saying?
What?
But I would think
understand.
somebody
Marinara sauce. What?
I would think
What's
somebody
your
in the
point?
history of the world squashed a tomato
and made sauce out of it.
Yeah, I would think. Ray?
I'm right now on Wikipedia trying to find the origin of marinara sauce.
He's checking me.
Well, I'll give
no, I'm not checking your timing. It's all right. They can have a point.
All right, so they have 7. Ray has 8. So this would be important if Ray gets this wrong.
This was more like, okay, so they're saying the early marinara sauce was a lot like salsa.
That's what I'm saying.
Salsa.
It's a squashed tomato.
Yeah, but they're originally saying that it was in the first Italian cookbook that included 1692 to 1694.
Oh, see, the Chinese.
Antonio Latini.
The history would say that the Chinese invented noodles way before that, which then became pasta.
It was more like salsa. I want to find out when it became marinara.
Are you doing the salsa?
The salsa.
Dude, that's from Seinfeld.
The salsa.
Every now and then, Ray throws in a Seinfeld that Bill has no idea.
I have to start watching it because you guys have all these inside jokes I can't be a part of.
Now that it's come up so much on the air, it's become really my go-to. I've watched a number. I think I've gone through like 2 seasons over the last 3 days.
Yeah, I watch it every day.
It's so good.
I got to be honest with you. I don't think there's anybody, like if I entered a Seinfeld contest now, I'm not sure anybody could beat me.
I couldn't beat you. I know that for sure.
Now, have you watched Curb as much as you've watched Seinfeld or no? Not even close?
No, because Seinfeld's on every day. So what I do is I decompress by watching Seinfeld.
That's exactly. I turn my brain off. I watched the Worlds Colliding episode. That was the last one I watched last night.
Worlds are colliding. George is getting upset.
So it's still applicable. Like it's still because sometimes you watch these old shows and they're out.
They're totally applicable.
They still work.
Yeah.
Totally applicable.
A modern day adaptation of it would be fantastic. Because there are things that could be modernized in terms of technology and different types of lifestyle things that could come up, but it still applies.
Well, help me with this because I know I didn't watch it. A lot of people were upset with the way it ended, right?
I didn't actually think it was a bad ending at all.
Right? Weren't there a lot of people that were upset?
I don't know why people thought it was a bad ending. Like, I don't know how you can end such a legendary series like that. They introduced all the great characters that were in it in that last series, and I thought it was well done.
I forgot what show I was watching when I was watching that final episode. Like, you expected some great tie-up of, like, this is how a sitcom's supposed to end. And that's like, well, this is Seinfeld. It's not going to end.
But didn't they bring in, like, every character?
Yeah. Which is what I just said.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you're saying you didn't expect it to be like
But, you expect a sitcom to be resolved of all the plot lines that, like, went through. And it's like, well, the plot lines that went through here weren't, like, people's lives getting better. It was just for regular people on TV.
Yeah, and so all these rotten things they did were all explored in the final episode. And let's first of all, is there a good way to end anything that runs that long? Like, there's no ending that you could possibly create that would satisfy people for a long-running series. Like, people complain about The Sopranos.
I loved it.
How could you have ended The Sopranos?
So, that's a controversial opinion on mine. There we go. Opinion. That The Sopranos ending was great. The best ending ever to any sitcom, though, not sitcom or show.
Cheers?
Was the way 6 Feet Under ended.
Yeah, I didn't watch that show.
They did not leave a single loose end. They went through every character's life until death.
10 people watched that show.
Oh, that show was great.
610-6.
That was a great show, 6 Feet Under.
0975 back after this.
Andrew Salciunas.
Your Eagles are Super Bowl champions, winners of
142. Mike Missanelli Show. 97.5 The Fan. Do I owe Ray a question?
Where are we, Ray?
Yes, you do.
All right, we got
I
an
distracted you with the Seinfeld
Yeah,
stuff.
8 to 7 game right now.
All right, what came first? I don't know. This seems too easy. Yeah. I'm going to give you this question. If you get it right, it doesn't count because I think it's too easy. What came first, Disneyland or Disney World?
Disney World.
No, that's incorrect.
All right, there you go.
Disneyland is in California. That
Yeah,
started in 1955.
That's a pretty easy one, Ray.
Yeah, I've never been to Disneyland.
Disney World was.
I got to Disney World first.
I won't count that question.
Wait, what do you mean you're not going to count that question?
Well, I wouldn't count I got it right, so I didn't even put any thought into it. I just said Disney World.
Yeah, I'll give it another.
All right.
What came first? Sharks or whales?
Sharks or whales? Think about the way that they go about their existence and how that they could have evolved throughout time, which is going to lead me to believe that sharks were the first thing around.
What was the rationale for that?
Yeah, watching his brain work.
I'm trying to think about the evolutionary process.
So the evolutionary process. It's very interesting. And you came up with sharks coming first in the evolutionary process. Why would you say sharks?
Because they could have evolved from a species that could have existed on the Earth with the dinosaurs.
This is great.
Sharks?
Not sharks specifically, what they could have evolved from.
Oh, so
they could have been around a lot
shark
longer.
would be a lot more likely to evolve from the dinosaur than a whale?
Not from the dinosaur, but from a species that could have existed in a habitat from that time. Now that I'm thinking about it, and also the way that you're responding to me.
No, I'm just curious to know how your brain is working because a dinosaur was big, so maybe like a whale being big.
I'm trying to think about what could have existed in the water at that time.
Huh.
I'm not thinking about what was on
This
land.
is a brilliant analysis because you're right.
Ah, nice.
It's sharks.
He did have a 1500 SAT.
Well, you got to think about the scientific, like the way that they could have existed in water and like from their class of animal and all that stuff. Like I feel like the shark class feels like one that could have sustained the environmental changes
So
of
a
the Earth
whale
over time.
is a mammal.
Correct. And I don't think
mammals would not have evolved until many years later.
Right.
See,
Is the
that's the
whale
way
a
he
mammal?
figured that out, Mr. Football.
Is
He is
the
a
whale a
smart
mammal?
man back there.
Is the whale a mammal?
Yeah, I think the whale's a mammal. No?
Yeah, it is. Okay.
All right.
Because I was like, whales are mammals, and I was thinking about dolphins. I was like, that's not too different. But I was like, I think whatever the whale does end up falling into that class would not have been able to survive as long as the shark class would have.
All right, let's get back to the text board. What do we have for today?
All right, we got Jack in Pennsylvania asking, here's the question for a team with huge playoff possibilities. How many no-experience offensive coordinators have won it all in their first 2 years?
So how many, like, brand new OCs, he said?
Yes.
Their first 2 years of being a coordinator?
First 2 years.
Like Kellen Moore wouldn't count.
Wouldn't count because he's done it before.
Okay.
Was Shane Steichen a new coordinator?
I think he was.
No, he was not.
He wasn't?
He was the Chargers OC in 2020, and then he came here.
He was an OC with the Chargers?
He was. He was an interim OC in 19, and then the actual OC in 2020. Because I thought Steichen was new, but I'm wrong on that. What about Frank Reich? Let's see. Was he a first-time OC? No, he was not. Also the Chargers before coming to the Eagles and winning the Super Bowl. Huh.
So what does that say? That it's very unlikely that Kevin Pulo could win something in his first year as offensive coordinator? Is that what the conclusion we're drawing here? That it's highly unlikely?
Yeah, I'm trying to find.
That's going to be in the legal pad for tomorrow and going forward.
This is a tough one to find, though, man. I mean, because you got to really go down the rabbit hole.
Why we're going to give you a whole evening to find it.
It's easy to find first-time head
No,
coach.
Bill's going to read a book on protests in America tonight. He's
taking care of the baby.
He doesn't have time to get to. Well,
No, I'm going to read that one right after I read the Penn State Perfect Season book.
yeah, another disrespect.
Jeez.
Another sense of disrespect.
Wait, was that too harsh, Ray?
This is going to motivate me to play golf. I'm going to put your freaking face on a golf ball.
And this is going to motivate our
You think you're shooting
Mike
Saquon
Missanelli day
numbers
tomorrow.
out there?
What's that?
The Saquon number out there? He wants to break 80 this
Yeah,
this
that just
season.
you know how much that annoys me. You know how much it annoys me that Saquon probably just picked up the game, but he's such a phenomenal athlete that he's saying, if I don't break 80 this year, I'm going to quit the game.
Yeah, but see, you don't have to be a phenomenal athlete to play golf.
Yeah, but you know how hard of a sport it is. Have you broken 80 in your life?
No, I shot 83 is my low.
Yeah, my low is an 88. And I don't know if I'll ever break 80.
Man, you stink.
Oh, dude, I only started playing 3-4 years ago.
This man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play.
The worst part is my 88, I shot a 38 on the front.
Oh, that's terrible back.
38 on the front in the biggest tournament at our club, and then I had a 50 on the back.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
You got to stay away from those.
But the problem is you get to 38, you're like, oh, my God, am I going to break 80 today? Nah, you're lucky if you break 90.
All right, it looks like Ray has locked up General Knowledge Wednesday.
/Thursday.
So, on Thursday. So, let's go back to the text board, and then we'll do some Jim Carrey movies.
By the way, we got to clarify something on the Jim Carrey thing.
What?
We were saying Carrey and Stiller were never in a movie together. Stiller had a small part in The Cable Guy, which he also directed. I did not know that.
That was very disturbing, that movie. Do you find that pleasurable to watch?
There's some funny scenes in it.
Really? God, it was so disturbing.
Yeah, it was a little bit disturbing. Felt bad. You feel bad for Jim Carrey's character at the end.
Yeah.
When you learn about him. But it was pretty funny. All right, what's the text board, Ray?
All right, JB at Pottstown. Last year, Nick wasn't good, so Howie and Jeff picked the coordinators, and now you're saying Nick is flexing off a Super Bowl win with the coordinators that he didn't even pick. They do have a list of guys, but the list was depleted, and they took the best available.
Yeah, I don't believe. I believe that Nick had clout to get this done with Kevin Pulo. I believe they allowed him to. His endorsement counted more than anything, and I think he endorsed this guy. They're close. They're buddies. They've worked together before. I think he felt comfortable with him, and I think that they deferred to his wisdom. And I think that's growth in their eyes, because at one point they didn't trust him. But when you win a Super Bowl, it serves your. Listen. The owner and the general manager should respect that. They should give you that kind of clout if you want that guy.
Yeah.
And you're just not buying it.
Well, I think there's some truth to what the texter's saying. At this point in the process, it's not an easy thing to go out there and start finding people who have experience calling plays. You're not getting a lateral move of an OC, so you would have to really dig deep into the quarterback coach world. I would have just liked to have seen them maybe have interviewed people. But the fact that they didn't signals to me that what you're saying is not accurate, where that not only did Nick want this guy, they wanted him too. Because at the very least, if Roseman wasn't on board with Pulo, they would have conducted some interviews.
I think they were okay with him. I don't think they were displeased with him. I think he was a definite candidate. And I think what pushed it over the top is I think that the head coach had clout in this situation. I think it's a very logical view of this whole thing.
I've got one here that I'm just curious what part of the argument they checked in on, because it's a hilarious, for me at least, a hilarious parallel to draw. In regard to the recent hiring, Bill is a married man. Did he marry the first woman he dated, or did he want to see what was out there first? Go Birds.
I don't understand the parallel.
I think it's saying that they didn't interview anyone. They didn't go look at any other candidates.
Well, when you're in love, you're in love.
And
I'm on my second marriage.
No, they had intelligence on a bunch of candidates. So you can't tell me that this crew especially doesn't have a booklet of the next guys up. So I think if everybody, since they didn't talk to anybody, that didn't mean they didn't like anybody else. I just think they go, okay, well, we got an in-house candidate right here that the coach liked. Why shouldn't we do it? And nobody in our book goes higher than this guy. They're all the same. So if they're all the same, then we'll take Kevin Pulo because the coach wants him. That's clout, and that's growth. That's growth with the head coach. I'm trying to compliment Serriani, and you're not taking the compliments, Bill. I don't understand what you're doing today.
Well, no, I think you're right in a certain respect. I do think Serriani wanted him, and they listened. I just also think they wanted him, too, in light of what was probably out there. Like, was there a better option that they could get on February 19th? And the answer is probably no. And hopefully Pulo does a great job. They repeat. Not going to be easy, though.
A new offensive coordinator, though, the thing about this fan base, they're ready to eat. And if this guy does not...
They should have patience
right away. If he does not right away have success, this fan base may get a little nervous.
Coming to you in July, Bill Colarulo tries to preach fan base.
Well, you know what's funny?
Preach patience.
I'm guilty of it, too.
He's going to protest the fan base, right? He's going to hold a sign and protest. Unfair to Serriani. There's a Bill walking in the Novacare.
That won't be the first time. I did it all summer, all year. But this summer, I didn't practice what I preached because I told everybody we should have patience with the Philadelphia Eagles this season because things will probably start out a little slow with 2 new coordinators. And I was guilty of it, too. By week 3, I was angry that the defense didn't look great. So I got to preach to myself, too. We should probably have some patience the first few games of the season with a new offensive coordinator, new quarterback coach, and all that coming off of a Super Bowl. But I'm sure we won't, and I probably won't either.
2 more things before we get out of here. Real quick, Paul and I have since mended fences. We're back to his favorite show after Paul and I's dispute over the text board that I don't read anything that goes against Mike. And MBD.
Yo, read something that goes against me.
I did.
Okay.
That was Paul's beef with us. But
all right.
Paul
he thought Ray.
That you don't.
Yeah, he thought Ray refused to read.
But there's very few things that come against me.
And MBD with the take on the coaching hire from our YouTube chat. Bill outkicked his coverage. The Eagles settled.
Yeah.
And that was the final take on today's.
And I did say to MBD, agree 100%.
All right. So tomorrow's show, the theme might be all your beefs with me.
I don't know if 4 hours is enough.
All the people who have something negative to say about me should call tomorrow, and then you guys chart up the top 10 things, and I'll revise them, and I'll go, okay, I need to improve here, I need to improve there, or that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. That's my response.
I may need to get the other 2 shows on board with that because I think we may need 12 hours instead of just 4.
Yeah,
we might have to do a whole day of that, Ray.
We got our winners, by the way, for tickets. Nick Gavin. Chuck Kelly.
Gavin and Chuck Kelly are our winners. Yeah. Well, everybody have a great rest of the night and have a great weekend because I'll be back here.
Yeah, have a
Monday.
great trip, Michael.
Thank you very much. We'll talk to you then.
Fill Pulo's role. Adam Schefter reported this morning that Cam Jurgens underwent a back procedure to alleviate nerve pain and should be ready by training camp. Down in Clearwater, we are 2